It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Jeff Jarvis is here. Aunt Pruitt is here. We're joined by Paris Martineau in seat 3. We'll talk about the new Pixel 8 phone, the Pixel Watch 2, the new Pixel Buds, and we'll tell you why you should not stick your new phone in a salmon. We'll also talk about Spotify's plan for monetization involves audiobooks. Guess podcasts didn't work out all that well. And what happened to Masterclass? It's all coming up next on Twig.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 736, recorded Wednesday, October 4th, 2023. Socks on the beach. This Week in Google is brought to you by Collide. Collide is a device trust solution for companies with Okta. And Collide assures that if a device isn't trusted and secure, it can't log into your cloud apps. Visit collide.com/twig to book an on-demand demo today. And by Fastmail. Reclaim your privacy, boost productivity, and make email yours with Fastmail. Try it now free for 30 days at fastmail.com/twit. And by Miro, the online workspace for innovation, where your team can dream, design, and build the future together from any location. Tap into a way to map processes, visualize content, run retrospectives, and keep all your documents and data in one place. Get your first 3 boards for free at miro.com/podcast. It's time for Twig This Week in Google, the show we cover Google, the internet, the Googleverse. As John just told me, anything you can find in a Google search, that's what this show is about. Jeff Jarvis is here, the Leonard Tao Professor for Journalistic Innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. Hello, Jeff.
Hello, boss. Welcome back. Did you cheese it up?
Oh, my God.
A lot of curds in
They
there?
even put cheese in their brats. I had a macaroni and cheese bratwurst.
Oh, sounds good.
Yeah.
No, too much.
Yeah. Cheese curds, it turns out, are really just lumps of cheese. I don't know exactly. Thank you. Aunt Pruitt says he agrees. Aunt Pruitt.
Those things are outstanding, sir.
Oh, you love them.
Cheese curds.
See, I like the ones that were
Are you coming out against cheese curds, Leo?
Uh-oh, I might be in trouble
Who's
here.
that?
That is Paris Martineau. You know her from This Week in Tech. She's, of course, at The Information and has many
Please replace
times.
my lower third with cheese curd enthusiast.
Are you a cheese curd? Where do you get cheese curds in Brooklyn?
I mean,
it's
some
very
bodegas
Brooklyn.
have them, cheese shops. I love cheese. I'm lactose intolerant. I shouldn't love cheese. I love it anyway.
I love cheese.
Give
I'm not
me it in
against
all
cheese.
forms.
I don't understand
but
the
cheese
benefit of a
curds
cheese
are-
curd.
It's cheese, but in a portable,
In a lump.
hand-size, See,
I love cottage cheese, which is actual curds.
Okay, cottage cheese.
That's
gross.
actual.
Curry's curd.
That's curds.
What was that you said, old man?
I love cottage
Do
cheese.
you like
nascent
cottage cheese to eat when you take your dentures out?
It is like an old man, isn't it? Give me some cottage. But was it Ronald Reagan loved cottage cheese? No, it was Nixon loved cottage cheese
Nixon
and ketchup.
Aren't cheese
I'm a little
curds
more up to date.
pre-cheese?
I love cottage cheese and balsamic vinegar.
Oh, that sounds good.
It's not too bad. Yeah, it's like cacio and
that actually
pepe.
sounds appetizing.
Yeah, you should try it.
Okay.
Cheese curds, as far as the Wisconsinites are involved, seem to be basically like lumps of cheese. Although you can get them.
They're a curd.
That's just
It's a curd.
Okay, they're not like cottage cheese curds. They're not like curds and whey curds. They're just cheese lumps.
But I'm asking
your
a serious
issue
question.
with
Are they
cheese
an
curds?
earlier part of the process?
I think in theory they were, but not now. Anyway, I don't know. They are delicious. So you can get them plain, just like a lump of cheese, or you can get them deep fat fried. And that actually is quite tasty.
That's what you want.
But that's
what
not
you want.
much different, Ant, than a mozzarella stick.
Oh, it's way better than mozzarella stick.
Oh, now watch. New Jersey and Brooklyn have high-level mozzarella. Mozzarella.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
true.
I'll give you
Listen,
that.
I
Yes,
love to
I'll
get a
give you
big
that.
fresh ball of mozzarella.
Yeah.
Go down to
Yeah.
Italy.
I'll give you that.
Go to
Deli in
Italy.
Hoboken.
I give you that. New York mozzarella versus
Mozzarella.
Hand
over here.
stretch mozzarella. So I am very grateful to Jason Howell because this morning he got up at 7 a.m. Pacific time. Probably got up earlier for a Pixel event. Now, Apple has finally figured out that you don't have to do these things live. You can produce a beautiful, highly edited, well-flowing presentation that sells it very well. This felt like an event from 1975. It was like the old school days. Rick Osterloh up on the stage. We love Rick. He came to Google from Motorola when they bought Motorola. Is now in charge of all hardware. Started things off. It just felt a little, I don't know, did it feel, did you watch it yet, Jeff?
Nope. Yeah, I watched it live. Of course, I had to watch your stream.
Did it feel strange to you?
No, it just felt small.
Small.
Yes,
Laporte,
Mr.
I got
Pruitt.
up and watched this presentation this bright early morning, and nothing against Mr. Osterloh and the other members there, but man, their presentation was just so flat. I
It
fell
was
asleep.
flat.
I
They're
fell
always
asleep.
flat.
I legit got another nap in watching that, and woke up crazy refreshed right as they finished talking about the Pixel Buds Pros or whatever.
Yeah.
It just
They had
a whole different energy level.
The guy who came to Google from Pixel.
As always,
Here's Rick.
our focus is on making AI more helpful for everyone. in
I'm
ways
sleeping
that are
already.
Bold.
It's what they're
and
always
responsible.
like.
Okay, but all right. So,
do
Mr.
you want, a
Howland,
Samsung
Did you watch
presentation?
this? Paris, did you watch this?
I will say, when I stopped reporting on exclusively consumer tech, one of the first things that filled my heart with joy is that I will never have to sit through a God knows how many hour-long press release.
That's what these
I
are.
believe
Yeah.
one of the first things
Yeah.
was like it was Apple's one of their like demo days or whatever. And I was like, God, I don't have to do this anymore. I mean, in this case, I skimmed the product announcement. I think that each and every one of these sort of events proves that it should have been an email.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point.
No title.
Should have been an email. They announced the new Pixel 8, which we already knew everything about. In fact, they even had the kind of, I don't know, the self-deprecating nerve at the beginning of the event. They had a couple, let me see if I can find this, a couple
That
sitting
was the dazzle part
in the
right there.
cafe. Oh, God, this music even is god-awful.
That was a good line. The W8 is over. That was nice. That was nice.
What does W8 mean? Just the wait.
Sure.
Wait.
Yeah, but
Sure.
what do you think?
Okay.
That's clever?
Sure.
For them, for
Listen, they're-
presentations, it was positively Seinfeld.
There was an ad, apparently.
Annoying sound.
Oh, yeah. You can't get rid of it, huh?
But do you really think all those rumors are true?
Yeah, they were all true.
Let's see.
And then they started the event. Like they acknowledged, yeah, we told you everything already. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing new.
Good for that.
They announced the Pixel Watch 2, which is much needed because the Pixel Watch 1 fell apart, had all sorts of problems. Fitbit is very much a part of it. In fact, you get 6 months free of the Fitbit subscription with the Watch 2. And as I said, the guy who came to Google from Fitbit, the founder, the guy who founded Fitbit, did the introduction on the watch. And they also announced the new Pixel Buds. Yeah, email easy could have covered all of this. I did order. I mean, I thought, well, I have the Pixel 7.
How many phones did you order as a result of this
Just
event?
one, I think.
Leo?
Just one.
Okay, that's huge.
Just one.
Pro?
But I have to, right? I sort of have
You
to.
have to.
So I have the Pixel 7 Pro. The good news is, because I'm a Google Fi customer, I can get the Pixel 8 Pro. I think it was $760 with 256 gigs, and trade this in for a couple of bills. So it's going to cost more like $500, which, for a feature phone, in state-of-the-art, top-of-the-line phone is probably not a bad price.
Listen, come into this from iPhone land. That sounds like a steal.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
How much did I pay for the 15 Pro Max? What do you got, Ant? What do you have? That's a 7?
This is the 6 Pro. Should we trade it in?
They look the same, don't they? They look exactly the same. Yeah, you
What is
can
in the
if you
back
want.
of your phone?
It's got some sort of blocky thing.
Oh, that's a magnet for when I get into the car. I just pop it on there.
It's a
Oh, that's fun. I for some reason still think of magnets as the enemy of technology. I think like the CRT, TVs really scared me. Anytime a magnet gets near my computer or phone, I'm like, oh God.
I'm with you.
You're not
I was a little
wrong.
nervous, but I got in the car with one of the hard heads one day, and he had a magnet on the back of his phone. He set it on the dashboard, and I'm like, wait a minute, that actually works, and your phone is fine. It's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I'll try it.
Yeah,
So Leo,
we all have that feeling like magnets. Really, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
No. Although it is possible to do bad things to your phone. Did you see the BMW's wireless charging burns out the RFID or the NFC in the back of the new iPhone?
Wow.
It burns it out. It destroys it.
Wow.
Okay, that doesn't surprise me because there are some, specifically, I feel like the wireless chargers I see in cars always make my phone incredibly warm.
Yeah.
Oh.
and
yeah.
BMW would have a macho magnet.
Heat.
It's it's super wireless charging. It's the best.
So Leo, tell me when I can have a preemptive fit about the 8.
About what?
The 8. Can you guess what I'm going to have a fit about?
The 8?
Knowing what I have fits
About the Pixel 8, the new phone?
Yes.
What's
So I've been trying, I mentioned this last week when you were AWOL, I've been trying to get Google Bard extensions working on my workplace account.
Right.
Okay. And I went through I was on the show talking to service, trying to figure it out. 4 days afterwards, still they never gave me an honest answer. Basically, the bottom line is it won't work with my account because I pay Google for it
Right.
and I can't use it.
Paris?
All right.
Because
So now,
you're new here, I better explain.
Oh, okay.
This is an ongoing.
Listen, I was
constant-
really enjoying the rage.
This is
Void
Niagara
of
Falls
context,
step by
but-
step. Yeah.
He has been complaining about the fact that he can't do with his workplace account the things the rest of us can do with our consumer Google.
But I pay for
accounts.
it.
All this time. Go ahead.
What
Continue.
things are you missing?
All kinds of things you cannot do that Google won't allow them. They have all these new features come out. Oh, it works on everybody except the people who pay us.
All of the AI stuff. A lot of AI.
Well, that's the thing. So I can see this happening. I spend $1,100 for the effing phone. And the main reason to buy it is because the Tensor chip is on it and it can do all this neat AI stuff with my email and my maps and all the things that are promised with Bard extensions. And I'll give you 10 to 1 because my account is a workspace account. It wouldn't work. And I would then have a $1,100 piece of steaming anger in my hand. So I would like to get it. I'm kind of due for a new phone. Don't tell my wife, she wouldn't agree. But if I do, my head will explode on this show like you have never seen. You think I'll be Mr. Calm all these years compared to what you would see at that moment. And I can't get a straight answer out of anybody as to whether or not, maybe Paris can, because she works for a very powerful outlet.
There we go.
Will Bard extensions work with these tuned accounts? So that's my preemptive fit. And I just can't order the phone because I don't know if it's going to work.
One thing they did say is that Bard or some sort of LLM is going to come to Google Assistant. Not right away, but in the next few months.
Yeah, but what they showed was basically Bard extensions.
Yeah, so
It'll
you're
work
going to
with your
get
email.
it.
It'll work with
because
maps.
it's going to work in your assistant. So you're going to say,
they're
hey,
going to say everybody, but not people with your account.
no,
Jeff.
it's not going to do that to you.
I'm going to say it
Jeff.
could work
You
for
can't do that,
everybody
Jeff.
but Jeff. That
His
could
assistant
be
basically
a
what it is.
in the
possibility.
wrong account.
The Verge,
I am the victim.
The Verge says it's far from going full on Bard, which again, before the show we were talking because Paul Thurrott and I have gotten a little lovers quarrel because I'm of the opinion that adding AI to search is a mistake because AI doesn't guarantee the factual nature of its results. And that's the one thing you want from search is accurate results. So,
he's defending ChatGPT and Bing. Is that the
he says it's gonna improve search, and I think it's gonna do everything but improve search because if your search, he said, well, look for what's the best vacuum cleaner. I said, when I search for that, I don't want Google to tell me what the best vacuum cleaner is. I want it to give me links to the Wirecutter and Consumer Reports and various trusted sources that I can look at the ratings. Right. He says, well, no, because what'll happen is it'll say, well, according to these sources, this is the best vacuum cleaner. And And he says, and they'll add, this is where you can get it, and these stores are open. And I say, yeah, and I'll have to vet every freaking answer because it could be hallucinating.
Sure.
It's
Paris,
reminiscent of what Elon Musk is doing right now with Twitter, where they've essentially said, or I guess the website formerly known as Twitter, where he said, oh, we're going to take away links, prioritizing tweets with links on Twitter because we want to optimize for people staying on x.com.
Wait a minute.
I feel like it's probably a similar...
Did he say that recently?
Yes, he did.
He did.
Yes,
I think that was
down
today. But I think
no more
Google
links
search
in
results
Twitter.
are similar because it's like you don't want to have people leaving Google search results and going to Wirecutter or any of those trusted sources.
No, that's a good point.
Accuracy be damned.
Line 59, Leo.
At one time, YouTube was doing the same thing. When you would put your YouTube video onto a website as an embed, it's like it wasn't really counting as a view. But if you put a thumbnail, have them click on the thumbnail that takes it to YouTube, then it's a view. So it's I get people wanting their platform to be prioritized versus the content being prioritized.
Sorry, Ant. Is it just urban legend, or is it true that posts with links are deprecated in Facebook and LinkedIn? That's what people think is the case. So they put links in the comments under the post.
I don't know. I didn't even know that. With
That's a
regards
great
to
question.
LinkedIn.
I'm not sure with LinkedIn. If I recall correctly, there was something with Facebook when they were deprioritizing news content in the feed because of concerns over inflaming political tensions, where essentially they would say like, oh, links to certain news organizations or links to content that we think could be politically charged will be deprioritized in the feed. But I'm not sure if that's still the case today.
Yeah.
Or if it's all links.
So Paris brings up what I think is a really important story, and it adds into kind of a trend, right? So you have two things going on. You have an attack on links, basically, because Facebook is getting rid of them in Canada because of C18. You have Musk saying he's going to get rid of them. And then you have paywalls threatened around Facebook and Instagram and around X, because he thinks he wants to, and now TikTok is talking about paywalls. So it's the closing in of our dear open web by these companies. I'm sorry. Are you on Discord, Paris?
He's laughing.
Oh, yeah.
You're now part of the official. You're now officially.
I really am part of the Magnet Suspicion
Magnets.
Club.
How do they work?
We'll soon have your handy dandy stickers.
Yeah, you're doing the stickers.
Very important. I am going to need, I'm going to need a whole pack of these.
So I got a little bit, this was a little squirrel moment for me because we were talking about something completely different. But to take links out of Twitter is like, that's the whole point of Twitter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Elon has proven time and time again over the last year that he doesn't understand anything about what the point of Twitter is.
Or he does and he wants to destroy it.
You think he wants to go bankrupt like he's just trying to get out of it?
I don't think he's thinking that hard about it.
He should tell Linda Yaccarino what his plans are because she says we're going to be profitable next year. Yeah, she clearly does not know what's going on.
Oh, I know somebody who knows her back in the day at NBC, and I said, was she that bad then? And no, but geez.
Well, you kind of have to, if you're going to work for Elon, I think you have to drink the Kool-Aid, except you got to wonder when she got back after we're talking about the interview she did at the Code Conference with Julia Borston of CNBC. First of all, Yaccarino was a little off-put by the fact that they had Yoel Roth on right before her interview. He's the former head of Twitter safety who was ousted by Elon and then doxxed by Elon and had to move.
Right.
And, really was threatened by Elon's stands. So she was like, why did you have him on? So she was already on their back foot. But then she, at some point in this interview, in which she's very defensive, shows her phone screen. And there's no...
Twitter is not on there.
There's no Twitter. And
also, may I point out, she has the settings app in her dock at the bottom of the phone, which I think is the most psychopathic thing I've ever seen. Who has the settings there? Who needs that much access to the settings app?
Well, we can debate that. I actually, it's funny, The Verge ended up having on, I think it was on Threads, all of their editors post their screens. And you're right, none of them had the settings on the dock. But I can only imagine her going back to the office and Elon saying, you've got Instagram, you've got Facebook's, WhatsApp, you've got Facebook on your, where's Twitter?
Where's X?
I think that might be.
X?
So, maybe she doesn't even use it. I don't know.
I was going to say, X is on my home screen.
Is it really?
I'm not the CEO of it.
You are brave. I don't want it on my home. Well, it's in a folder on my home screen.
I don't know if it's not gonna.
I don't use it.
Mine are color coded, which I think everybody should.
Oh, wait a minute. Let's see that. You color code your home screen?
Oh my! Oh,
yeah, I do. I don't know how to get the camera to.
No, yeah, it's too bright.
It's not going to.
Paris, I got it. This is a major litmus test question. Tell me your books aren't organized by color.
They're not.
No.
They're not.
Okay, good.
There are there's like one area, like, am I pointing in the right? Like over here that has some blue books because I think they look nice together. But most of the other books are
a little bit.
slope, my friend.
Listen, I'm not going full, Pinterest.
Paris is very
book.
aesthetic, though. She has.
I will say I do. I got to take pride in the background of my apartment.
You're very crafty. Yeah.
No.
She has an interesting object dart in her faux fireplace, though. We won't talk about that.
Listen, we're
Until we
not
get to
yet.
know you better.
We got to save that to the back half.
Where were we? God, now we've sidetracked.
Twitter, mouse killing.
No.
We were originally talking about Google
I'm
links.
going to pop the stack. We were talking about the new Google phone. We haven't finished that.
Oh, that. Oh, back.
Yeah, guys, Google.
Right.
Remember.
Google. Even Paris is chastising us.
I got to start from a position of power here.
Yeah. Google. This is a show about. It says Google. Actually, there isn't really much to say. I think that there are a couple of things that's interesting. The new phone is using a screen technology called LTPO, which ironically came from Apple. It is a low temperature. What does it stand for? Low temperature polycrystalline oxide, I think. But it is bright. In fact, they are even brighter than the new Apple phones. 2,400 nits.
That's awesome.
That's a lot of nits.
Wait, have we talked about how one of the new Google phones can sense your temperature?
That's okay. Yeah, we haven't
That's
gotten there.
on the
That's
8 Pro,
that's
right?
the one interesting new feature. Anyway, so the bright screen, you like that, Ant?
What about the photo controls, the camera controls? Is that just catching up, Ant, or is that maybe really good?
I think it's going to be pretty good. Well, at least what I saw in the demo and that I was awake for. It's going to be pretty good.
I think that's going to be nice. I got it. That's actually what put me over the top because I thought, they always have had the best camera. I'm going to give it a shot. And there's a lot of AI in there. But I do think that there were two things that were interesting. One is that they're going to put parts of Bard, parts of their AI, large language model AI, into Google Assistant. They will be the first.
If you're allowed to use it, we can't be sure.
You
but
will.
Go ahead.
You will. But they'll be the first to do that. I mean, there have been, hints that Amazon would do it. In fact, Amazon did a big investment in Anthropic, ostensibly for that reason. There were hints that Apple was working on something like that for Siri. But this will be the first one, and it's not there yet, but
And this is
coming.
what we've been waiting for. Is just that is exciting. Seriously, is to imagine what can be done locally, fast, privacy. That becomes really interesting to have your little server there and using your own rather than the whole LLMs of the whole world, using the corpora, right, Leo?
Corpora, very nice,
of your own data. Which is better than asking for vacuum cleaners of the whole world.
Yeah. And I think done right, there are certainly uses in search. I wouldn't use AI in search per se, but for instance, I use, as you know, I've been trying to find a Google alternative. I use this paid search now since Neva went under called Kagi. And Kagi has the...
You're kind of sad, Leo.
Oh,
pathetic,
man.
I know.
Stand on this.
It says, let's fetch ...
But no, it's... Okay,
You're fetching?
Give me a search term. I'll fetch the... Give me some... I'll search for Paris Martineau. Because you know more than anybody what it should say about you, right? And in fact, look, the autocomplete has a picture of you. There we go. I'm going to click it.
Yeah, that's
There's your website.
Oh, there's my website.
There's your
You can look at
Wired
photos
when you
of
were
my
at
cat,
Wired.
you know.
Yeah.
Right?
There's old pictures of you. There's
So
some
it has
images.
the 3.5-year-old stories rather than the current stories.
Well, no, I think this is
Listen,
there it is. Reporter of the information.
Well,
There's your information
I will
link.
say, to Coggy's defense, and this may be the only time I say that sentence, the information only recently became easily searchable by Google.
Really?
So
Coggy is.
it might, it might be.
But here's an interesting thing.
Coggy might be good off that.
Let me take one of your clips. How about that? You've got on your page. A long, strange trip for the Uber for nurses, right? So this is an article you wrote for the information. Let me go back to Coggy.
Mm-hmm.
Get ready for this. Because at the bottom of the Coggy page, they have something called Summarizer.
it has a bottom. That's unique.
This might not work for Coggy because the information has a paywall, but
Yeah, does it?
Well, let's
I
see.
believe you.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I didn't even think of that. Okay, let's
You
see.
should do a Wired article.
Yeah, I should.
Well, it has a paywall too.
But this is going to...
Well, but not as hard.
To me, this is what
The
AI
issue
could
is
do
that-
well. Now, look, I guess it went through the paywall. Here's the summary, the bullet points from your article.
Yeah, no, this is the top. This is the unpaywall
That's the
part.
top. Okay. So, but you get the idea. And I think
Go to a,
that's
cool.
useful, I think.
Yeah.
That is
right?
very cool.
So,
Did you add the Bard, since you don't use Google, but you got to use Google to figure out what's going on, you can add the Bard box to Google search. So every time you search for something, the box comes up there and
So let's
Bard
do the
says,
same-
I'll tell
let's-
you something about this.
so here I am on
Bardbox is the
Google.com.
sequel to Birdbox that no one asked for.
Pretty much.
Where is
Pretty much.
Bardbox?
And
I don't see it. Where?
Well, you've got to install that as it's a different extension, but you install that on Google. If you go to bard.google.com and then install that as an extension, it'll show up. The weird thing for me is it changes languages constantly. And I asked once, why are you showing me Persian? Because you're using the Persian keyboard. No, I'm not.
Oh, that's
I'm sorry.
interesting.
I'm just a development machine. I don't know anything.
Yeah. That's exactly the kind of hallucinations that worry me.
The whole
in
language.
search. Yeah. Although that was one thing Google showed at the event today is that you can dictate in, I think this is something probably not a lot of people are going to use, but you can dictate text messages in multiple languages at once. Like you could
there's
start in
plenty of
English
Spanglish people.
and then fade
Yeah.
into Spanish, and then switch.
You listen
into
to my students;
Italian.
they go back and forth like crazy.
Okay, so maybe there is a use.
Did you watch
That is
Hey
actually
Jen
very
on-
impressive from a
Well, it is.
language parsing
The fact that it can
perspective.
tell the
being
difference.
able to
Yeah.
Yes.
have both of those and then also turn that into translated speech, or not translated but written speech. Fantastic.
Yeah. Now
I spoke with
you
a State
did.
Department group of journalists.
Go ahead.
Belarusian journalists, and they're trying to learn English. That's why there was there. I spoke slowly to them so they could hear my English. And I talked about Hey Jen, and they were just like, wow. Have you seen that, Leo, I assume?
What's a what? Who? Hey Jen.
Hey Jen?
T-Y-G-E-N.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Last
with,
week.
Mr. Howell.
It's phenomenal because it will record video. It will translate. It'll translate and speak it in your tone of voice.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like you, and move your lips
It
appropriately.
looked really good. Really.
So we're interested in this because Spotify has announced for podcasts the ability to take an existing podcast like this one and in our voices translate it into another language. And I mean, one of the things I would love to do is make Twig available in South America, for instance, in Spanish-speaking countries.
I want the German version.
Or German. That would be
awesome.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Spotify also said, we're dancing around here, but, that they're going to put up full transcripts, which I think would make great sense for you.
Well, we already do that. We already have English language.
Now you can
transcripts.
add,
But now we can have
what
foreign language.
What I'm saying is,
yeah.
now you can add language and you can add summary, not just of the show notes, but the audience can query the transcripts.
And what service do you use for the transcripts here right now?
Podium.
Is that another AI one?
Yeah, it's an AI. We just started using it. We were using human written transcripts. We had just signed a deal when Whisper AI and all these came out, and I was like, oh my god. But it's Podium. It's not .com. That's another company.
Probably a podium salesman.
Podium
For,
salesman.
actually.
I can't remember now. Let's see. Anyway,
I really like Trent is what I use for
Trent.
all my recordings. and
Podium.
interviews.
Podium.
Trent is great because
Trent
you can
is an-
search.
Podium.co.
Done by a journalist.
.page.
I believe is the
Nope.
one.
It's .page. Here it is.
Oh, .page.
Hey, there you are on the
Yeah.
homepage. TWiT. Fun.
So what this does give us is fairly good transcripts. They're getting better at speaker recognition. So it'll say speaker 1, 2, 3, and 4, but then our editor can say, no, speaker 1 is Paris Martineau, and it will then fix that. It's also getting, so it's getting pretty good transcripts. And then we're using Anthropic's Claude to do show notes out of that. In other words, what I just did with the summarizer at Kagi, summarize the show. And then, so I think more and more we are able to use AI to automate that.
Is you could also put up the transcripts and allow the audience to come in and say, tell me everything that TWiT said this week.
Yes, exactly. But you could do that now with one of these summarizers, right? We don't have to even do that.
Right. I think.
So,
I don't know.
You mentioned
So you're
Paris.
saying is no one has to listen to this show.
Stop it. Stop it. What is wrong with you?
They can just listen to an artificial version of you reading the summary of what you did, and your lips will move along with it.
Okie dokie.
Boy, she arrives 1.5 hours later. She's killed the whole enterprise.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, here is the affiliate link for Podium. Is podium.twit.tv. I didn't know we had an affiliate link.
Awesome.
Tools for podcasters. So you mentioned this, Paris, and I thought this was interesting. The one weird new feature that nobody had leaked of the new Pixel 8 and 8 Pro is a temperature sensor. And they said now you can aim your phone at your stove to see if the eggs are at the right temperature. And coming soon with FDA approval, you'll be able to use your phone to tell you what temperature you are. Which I thought, I have one of those infrared, it's looks like a gun, but it's not. Thermometer that you aim at like inside an oven.
A meter.
A thermometer.
Thermometer that measures temperatures. And that's useful.
I will say I was ready to make fun of this, but as someone who has lost the little stick and poke thermometer I use to check if my salmon is cooked, having it on my phone would be very convenient.
But don't stick your phone in the salmon.
I mean,
please.
Sometimes I can't really control where the phone ends up, but I'm not going to hold that against it as far as temperature reading goes.
I think it's
Jason
meant
was
for
kind of wondering that in the show today.
It's meant for reading surface temperatures, not internal salmon temperatures.
Yeah.
But I use the little gun thermometer for pizza ovens and things like that because you want to make sure they're the right temperature before you put it in. That's what I got it for. So that's useful if it's accurate. We don't know if it's accurate.
I want to know how this feature came about. I mean, it had to be like a COVID era. We should add a thermometer to this.
It came from 2020. You're
right?
exactly right.
Yeah, like that's got to be it.
Right. Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, wait, COVID's over. We got to find something else. Eggs.
Oh, that's hysterical. Oh my God, that's hysterical. You're right.
Yeah. It's syncopated development.
I tell you, I'm reluctant after buying the Pixel tablet. After Google has killed Stadia, I'm very reluctant to buy a Google product of any kind. I've lost faith in them.
They're better known for killing them than starting them, which is really a shame.
And,
I still have faith in, I think we spoke about this. Somebody asked me about this. So I have more faith in them with phones because they're controlling the stack a little more with the Tensor.
Look at the Jamboard, right? This is the whiteboard that they put out that you bought for a lot of money.
A lot of money. We have a whole bunch of those at my school.
They're deprecating them at the end of the year or end of 2024.
When did they come out?
Where are you going to jam?
How do you jam? They came out not that long ago.
And I have colleagues who love using the software in class.
They like 3 or 4 years after their release, they're saying, "Yeah, we give up." That's to me. This is why they got to stop doing this. Have some commitment. So it makes me very nervous to buy anything from Google these days.
Again, that still points to leadership, in my opinion.
I agree.
You're saying have some commitment or what have you, but how about leadership going in and looking at the research and saying, all right, what is the competition in this space? Do we stand a chance, or can we take, a fair amount of the market?
You mean before they
sell
them? Before they sell them? Before they sell $25,000 devices to a school?
Right.
Yeah.
And then leave them out, leave them hanging to dry there at the end when there's no support for them. That's
The Jamboard will no longer receive software updates on September 30th, 2024, a year from now, and its licensed subscriptions will expire the same day. Companies and schools with an upcoming renewal may remain subscribers up to that date at a prorated amount. End of life,
September,
October 1.
They've got it perfect for back to school. You know?
It's dying in the first month of school. It's gone.
I mean, to your point, Antho, I think that this is maybe like, I think there's that meme, of everything in Google ends up in a graveyard.
Yeah.
But I think it's more of a symptom of Google being such a large and unusually decentralized kind of organization, at least in comparison to, your Facebooks or Metas and whatnot of the world. Like Apple, at the very least, you don't have all these different teams working on products that some of which end up being perhaps the same product, and they end up releasing them around the same time. But at Google, that sort of thing happens somewhat often.
This is
unfortunately,
the site we talk about all the time, killedbygoogle.com, and there it is right at the top, Jamboard, then podcast, then Google Domains, Google Optimize. I didn't even know about that, killed 5 days ago.
Google Domains is crazy to me.
Did they kill that? They sold it to Squarespace?
Yes.
Yeah, they gave them over to
Squarespace, right?
Squarespace, yeah. But Paris, I wonder whether in a decentralized organization, would it be easier to hide? Like, don't tell anybody they still have Blogger going after all these years.
Yeah, they do. Isn't that wild?
Yes, I think obviously it's easier to keep some of these pet projects alive for longer, but that's also why they end up developing these kind of cult followings, because they're able to grow. And then someone's like, why the hell do we have Blogger? Why the hell do we still are spending this much on Jamboard every year? And someone higher up in the totem pole decides to, cut that from the budget line for their larger team. And you end up with a lot of dissatisfied customers, which I guess would be, obviously, I think if Google was run in a somewhat different way, where every product release was something that you had buy-in from the highest levels of the company, you wouldn't have as much innovation, and it'd be a very different Google than the one we have now, but you would have that trade-off.
And we have a billboard that we were thinking we would put up on the Highway 101 out here in Northern California, featuring your image, I think, Paris.
I think that's great, fantastic.
Says, this is our marketing department at work right away, got right to work. So what you're saying,
that's huge,
nobody listens to
the people are really clamoring for this.
Yeah.
So great. So great.
Thank you, Joe Esposito.
Listen, you set me up for one, Leo. I'm just going to write
just
down
hit him
the
right out.
line.
That's what your job is right here.
See, she thought that being on a show about Google meant coming in and killing things, even the show.
Yeah, even the show.
That's true. I was being on brand, really. I take the name This Week in Google very seriously, and that means killing all of my darlings.
It lasts this week, and then it's gone.
Oh, Lord. All right. Let's take a little break. I think we've said everything there is to be said. I will get the new Pixel 8 Pro a week from tomorrow, so I'll have it for 2 weeks from now.
Seriously, do you have a Workspace account?
We use Google Workspace at work, yeah, but I don't. It's not my personal account.
I want to see if you can test whether or not you can get or I guess the AI stuff isn't in it yet. That's coming later.
Yeah, but I can test it for you. Yeah, it's not out yet.
Oh, well, that's the key.
So I will be logging into my Google Fi account when it comes, and that's one of the reasons I got it, because I use Fi, their cell phone company, which I'm sure is next on the block. And so, come to think of it, yeah,
I didn't think about that.
I didn't even think about that. So I'll put that on there, but I could log it in instead to Leo at twit.tv. We use Workspace for the company.
To see what works and what
Yeah,
doesn't.
I'll give it a try when that time comes.
Now, if you buy it with Fi and get the $400 off, can you then say, "Oh, and hell with it, I'm going to put a Verizon chip in"?
Well, that's a good question. It's unlocked. Yeah,
it's unlocked,
so,
right?
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah. I don't know. Don't tell that. Don't say that out loud. Ruth Porat will kill it.
Yeah.
She'll come along and say, "Oh,
yeah." Ruth is definitely
that's
here.
not okay.
Ruth's a huge Twig fan.
She listens all the time. She knows what to kill based on what we say. Paris.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen, she's coming for the podcast next.
Fortunately, she doesn't own this show. In fact, apparently
she did.
This is more. We've talked more about Google on this show today than we ever do, like in years. So let's stop.
I was about to
That's
say,
2
is this
weeks-
allowed? Do we
2
have to
weeks in a
stop
row,
talking?
actually.
Let's stop.
And
right
we
now.
haven't even gotten to Chromebook Plus.
Yes, well, we'll talk about that in just a moment because that's
Glee in
that's
your
kind.
voice as you say Chromebook Plus.
There's an irony in all that.
Watch
We'll
it,
talk
Paris.
about that.
Watch
Bless his
it.
heart.
You're getting
Bless his heart.
close to the nerves here.
Our show today brought to you by our good friends at Collide, K-O-L-I-D-E. Collide is a device trust solution for companies using Okta. And it ensures that if a device isn't, now this is the difference here. If a device isn't trusted and secure, it can't log into your cloud apps. You know, Okta protects you because it makes sure that the person logging into your cloud apps is authenticated, is authorized. But what about that person's devices? If you work in security or IT and your company's using Okta, this message is for you. One thing you might have noticed in the last few years, the majority of data breaches and hacks you read about all have something in common. Employees. Now, I love our employees, but that's the common point of attack for bad guys. Sometimes an employee's device gets hacked because of unpatched software. Sometimes an employee might leave sensitive data in an unsecure place. Or maybe it seems like every day a hacker breaks in using credentials phished from an employee. But the problem isn't your end users. It's the solutions you're using that are designed and supposed to protect against those breaches. It does not have to happen that way. Imagine, if you will, a world where only secure devices can access your cloud apps. In this world, phished credentials, useless to hackers. You can manage every operating system, Windows, Mac, even Linux, from a single dashboard. Best of all, you can get employees, this is so cool, you can get employees to fix their own device security issues without creating more work for your IT team. And that has a great side benefit because the employees are now on your side. They're on your team. They're part of your defense. Well, here's the good news. You do not have to imagine this world. You can just start using Collide. Visit K-O-L-I-D-E, collide.com/twig. Book an on-demand demo today. See how it works for yourself. Collide, K-O-L-I-D-E, collide.com/twig. Get that on-demand demo. I think you'll be very, very impressed. You're watching This Week in Google. Jeff Jarvis, Aunt Pruitt, and Paris Martineau joining us in seat number 3. All right, let's talk about Chromebooks for gaming. The irony is Google just killed Stadia. So you get the feeling this is another case of Google saying, oh, you know, it'd be great to work with Stadia. We could have our Chromebooks stream games using Stadia. And so they worked on that, and then they killed Stadia. And so what are they going to do? They're going to kill Chromebook Plus? No, they went ahead because now Microsoft or Amazon or NVIDIA can benefit. It's just crazy. Are you going to buy one of these, Jeff? I know you're a Chromebook fanatic.
Doesn't work now, and the microphone doesn't work, so I got to buy a new one.
Oh.
It's a Pixelbook Go. It's the last Google one.
Which I love. Yeah. Or no, not the Go. I like the Pixelbook.
Well, I love my old Pixelbook.
Yeah, I miss those.
May it rest in peace. They were the first horrible things they killed. So the expensive HP one was what I thought I was going to get. Kevin likes the
Kevin Toffel at aboutchromebooks.com. What does he like? Which one?
The 714.
Well, he's always like that. But is that a Chromebook Plus?
I was debating that one too. The Samsung one that came out 2 years ago, I liked, but it's old now. So I was waiting for Plus, and these are running $399, $499. They're less expensive. I just don't know what the build and screen quality is going to be like, and battery.
So these are
battery's
these,
not one of the specs.
So one of the things they're promoting, I even see ads for gaming on Chromebooks. These aren't the gaming Chromebooks that they've been talking about.
No. This is trying to set a base level for a serious Chromebook. And
so now there's going to be kind of 3 kinds of Chromebooks. There's Chromebook for gaming, the highest end. Those are using i3s and i5 Intel processors. And better screens, presumably. They say 120.
And along with them, the really expensive $1,000 ones from HP. I think it's the ultra premium called Chromebook. And don't laugh at me for saying that.
And then there's the Chromebook Plus, which is adding things like, I guess it has an NPU or neural processing unit of some kind. So it's doing more with AI. Video calls are even better, they say. They've got Magic Eraser in it, things like that. And then there's the normal crappy Chromebook that you have.
Buy it for your No. I have this is a $1,000 machine.
Oh.
Not a crappy one.
Okay.
Sir.
Well,
All right, your Chromebook that doesn't have a working touch screen and has something else broken, that's the not crappy one?
Hey.
I'm sorry.
The jabs.
yeah,
man, the jabs.
baby. Oh, my God. Go at him.
I'm sorry. This is,
I'm just
I will
happy
say
you're not
you did really
attacking
get
me.
with,
That's all. I'm just thrilled.
Listen, you did really get me with the idea of a gaming Chromebook.
Really?
That
Do you
does
want a
sound
gaming
interesting,
Chromebook? Really?
No, I don't. I have a Steam Deck, but
Yeah, that's
the
much
idea.
better.
I'm getting more into gaming on things that aren't a Nintendo Switch. So
Why not have a gaming Chromebook? Is it strictly because the Stream Deck is just more portable? You put it in your backpack or what have you?
Personally,
Why not?
it's honestly because being on a computer reminds me of being at work.
yeah.
And
Okay, that's
I
fair.
can't
This is
really
like a
think
Switch.
of the idea of enjoying myself while sitting down in a little laptop typey type
Yeah.
mode.
I feel you.
So I do really enjoy. I also just love the handheld aspect. I don't really take my Steam Deck anywhere, but I love sitting on my couch.
It
with
feels
the
like
Steam
you
Deck
could.
handheld.
If you were ever to leave the house.
Yes, I just want the
The Marriott.
I want the option of being able to run out into the street at a given moment and still play Baldur's Gate 3 while,
Okay.
pacing.
Oh, Baldur's Gate. Are you into it?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm
But you play that on
into it.
Really? You play that on Steam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have logged like 200 hours in Baldur's Gate. It's really embarrassing. It's taking over my whole life.
What character?
It's gonna be my pick of the week.
Oh, okay. We'll save it.
God.
Save it. Save it.
We'll save it.
ask you
Sorry,
about it
tell
later.
me more about how good Chromebooks are, Jeff, please. I don't want to hate in your love.
So here's the Chromebook.
I do mean that sincerely.
That's why I was confused. So they have this Chromebook Plus, but they have an even higher end version of Chromebook designed for gaming. And see, I would think this is what you would want, Jeff. Not because you want a game,
Probably.
but because it's going to have the highest
the
end
HP
features.
is the non-gaming version of that with the high-end chip and so on. Yeah.
I don't think you care about an RGB gaming keyboard.
I certainly do not. I would turn that off immediately.
It's sad though. I mean, they
You
announced
want to
this,
have your
like
multicolors
Grandpa.
as you type away your little lecture.
Yeah.
and then they say play your favorite games on leading cloud gaming platforms. And I'm sure they wanted Stadia to be in this group, but it's gone. So it's Xbox, GeForce Now, and Luna.
Yeah, I
Well,
was
it's
going to say,
Paris's
how does
theory of the
gaming
thermometer.
on this work? Like, because it's
streaming.
browser based because Chrome, right?
It's browser-based gaming,
Yeah.
exactly. And they do have some graphics capabilities, which is kind of interesting. Better displays, 120 hertz refresh rate displays, but it's all streaming. It has to be with streaming. This is so.
Which I
Maybe
think
this
makes
is what
sense
you
for the future.
Maybe this is what you look at as if he liked the Acer Spin. This is basically the gaming version, except you don't really want that keyboard.
No, I do not.
I will never understand how streaming in the gaming space is optimal. It just doesn't make sense.
it's not
It seems
optimal.
like the latency would be a bit of a pain in the
That's
butt.
right. It's not optimal. It's just it's
But
cheaper.
But people are still offering it. Here's a gaming device that you can't connect to the internet unless it's wireless, and I don't get that.
Yeah.
I don't see why that makes sense. But apparently, people are buying these products.
Yeah, I was going to say, I play video games because I don't want to be connected to the internet. Like, that is, I guess, like top 3 reasons as to why I'm playing a video game. But I don't know. Apparently, I think that also cost is probably a factor. It's probably easier to have a machine that's able to stream this than have it all within it.
I think
Here's another
Microsoft,
one. I'm not a gamer.
NVIDIA, Amazon, and Google all would like streaming gaming to be a thing. And I think gamers try it and then go, yeah, no. I honestly don't think.
I bet it's also probably also about control that, then you don't have the games locally, which is
Right,
already a huge
right.
trend in the gaming industry. You have to connect through this portal. They can change kind of the terms of that agreement pretty much at any time. If you, miss your monthly payment, your games are gone.
Yeah, that's true. They like
The
that.
other thing I think, Paris, is that I'm not a gamer and I would like to
really?
try some games. I would like to get into it, but I'm not going to go buy a whole bunch of equipment for doing something and saying, oh, well, okay, that's that. So if I could stream games on my machine, maybe I'd get into it. But the problem is that's not very much of a demographic you want to build for. for gaming. You want to go for you,
gamer
not me.
curious is not
No.
a huge TAM.
That's otherwise known as loser. Right, which I am.
So the new Chromebook Plus specs require an Intel i3 or better, and I would look for this actually, AMD Ryzen 7000 series. That might be better, frankly. A 1080p IPS display, 1080p webcam, 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. Those are the minimal
That's minimum
specs. They're going to include Google Photos, Magic Eraser, and other editing tools, offline file sync, AI-powered video conferencing, and things like lighting, noise
I'm not
cancellation.
sure what that means. We already have.
Why do we
offline
need AI
sync.
powered for video conferencing?
Well, I'll give you an example. And they showed this at
Noise
the Google event this
cancellation.
morning. Is the noise cancellation? They were really hot on how you can have your microphone and the baby's. You want to record the baby going goo goo gaga, but there's a dog barking in the background, and
Or I could teach class from the beach.
you could teach class from the beach. They wouldn't even know.
That's huge.
Where?
They wouldn't even know. Except they'd be blinded by your bright, shiny white knees. In a few,
Leo, they've never seen sunlight.
they've never seen sunlight. That's right. In a few months, you're right. Because, Jeff, you feel as I do that men should not wear shorts.
No. I don't like getting sand in my socks, and I don't go to the beach.
Yeah. Don't. Okay, here's a little tip. Next time you go to the beach, don't wear socks.
That, But I mean, then how is he going to keep his knees from?
Oh, that's a good point.
Without the over the knee
Do you
socks.
wear, do you wear socks? Do you wear thigh highs? Is that what you're wearing? With
It's harder to get the sand in there if the things go all the way up to your
I
thighs.
think, Joe, can you get to work on this? I want a picture of Jeff Jarvis at the beach in shorts
Yeah,
wearing
the
thigh
chat
highs.
has to
Bribe
go.
you, Joe.
Black thigh highs with sandals. Can you get to work on that?
No, Joe, no. You like me, don't you, Joe?
Prices for the Chromebook Plus will range from $400 to $700. Acer, Asus, HP, and Lenovo. They all come with this is interesting, 3-month subscription to Photoshop on the web. How good is that, Ann? Is that useful at all?
Yeah, it's pretty good. You have to use Chrome, though. You can't use
Well, good news.
Brave.
That's all you can
You
use
have
on
to
a
use
Chromebook.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to use Chrome. You have to use Edge. But yeah, it's pretty good. They've had this out for a while, beta-wise, and it's gotten better.
For our students, it'd be great to be able to start to use this stuff streaming and not have to buy all this expensive Mac stuff.
Yeah.
Equipment.
They also include a subscription, trial subscription to GeForce Now, which is, I'm sure, it must just really grind the gears of the Stadia people. Like, dudes, we were making that, we were doing that, man. Wow, that's sad.
Maybe the Stadia people got nice severance checks. Who knows? I hope.
One of the things Paul Thurrott was saying, I'm sure they did. One of the things Paul Thurrott was saying is that Microsoft needs to take Chromebooks seriously, that Microsoft needs to get in the classroom, that they need a product like Chromebook. So he feels like Microsoft's missing a bet by not having a Chromebook-like product for schools.
Yeah. I think
Well,
that's right.
the last time they tried, well, maybe it wasn't necessarily Microsoft that tried this, but the netbooks reminds me of
Exactly.
all the Chromebooks.
That's what I brought up.
And that was pretty craptastic back then.
Yep.
Oh, they were bad.
Yep.
Paris, to answer your question from 10 minutes ago, why Chromebooks? All I ever really do is the web, and I never bother about updates and apps and reg files and anything. It is just so mindlessly easy. I also
agree with
did it
you
in
on
part
that.
because I'm on a show
great,
called
then.
This Week in Google, and I thought I should really go deep into the Google thing. That's why I started, but I love it. I wouldn't go back.
I feel like
I
it's a
agree with
perfect
you
use
on
case
that.
then.
Leo makes fun
Person
of
who
me,
has
but
too
that's
many
okay.
apps running at all times that I only shut down for recording this sort of show could never be me. But I do respect your browser-based lifestyle.
Browser-based lifestyle, yes.
I have generated.
Oh no! What did you generate?
We do.
I have generated an image of Jeff on the beach in his shorts with his black.
Oh, these
Socks
are
on?
great.
It's a lie because there's no socks there.
Oh yeah, wait a minute.
Yeah, I was
I have
gonna
another
say
one with
sock
socks.
free.
I did say socks. Let's 1, 2, 3. Let's upscale number 3. and I will give you that one with the socks. There you go. I think that's a good.
There we go.
That's you right there.
There we go.
I really like the socks, yet the toes.
toes out.
They're happening.
Well, because that helps with the sand. Then it's okay. It's a good invention.
Really good, yeah.
Oh, man.
I didn't say Jeff Jarvis. I just said an old man. So I'll try to. I don't know if it knows
I need
you.
to Photoshop
we
Jeff
can
Jarvis,
Jarvis, but yeah.
Oh, that was another thing Google showed at the Pixel 8 event, and I thought that was really good. When you're doing a group shot, we do this every year for our. I'm going to try this with the new phone on our Christmas picture, and we do this every year. There's always somebody, because there's 20 people in the Christmas picture going, or with his eyes closed, or Burke making a weird smile.
Being who he is.
And so what you can do in a group photo is tap on the people's heads, and it'll show you, because take a bunch of photos, right? And then it'll show you all the different pictures of that person, and you could pick for each person the best shot and assemble
pretty
into.
good.
Now, if that does a good job, that's really good. I think that's a nice feature.
So insert deep fake moral panic here.
It's not a deep fake.
We're there already.
No, it's got the image.
I mean,
It's taking
it
the
is
pictures you've already
you know,
snapped.
deep fake in the sense that that picture doesn't
Never
exist,
existed.
and it is an amalgamation of other pictures. It's kind of a human centipede of a deep fake.
Well,
But
it could be that you're sneering at me for something I say, but then the photo can be replaced to make you smile at me. And that's kind of a lie.
Just like what most ads are already doing now for the last couple decades via Photoshop.
I think you guys are terrible. This is not that. This is you just have a family photo and the kids.
I agree with you.
I'm not saying it's moral panic. I guarantee you we're going to hear it.
It was him that brought it up.
so
I agree with you.
paranoid.
I think it's a good tool.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good tool for families to fix
I
this stuff.
agree. I'm just
For that
predicting the
group
moral
text or that group Slack channel, you know.
I will say this would be a perfect product for my mother, who hates every photo ever taken of her.
Yeah.
And for that.
That's
yeah.
right. That's right.
Here, Ma, now you got a choice. Just tap it and fix it.
I was like, just
Done.
pick the one that you like.
Yeah,
and we'll
exactly.
I don't like
do the
any
rest.
of them.
Here, Ma, here's all
Tell
the
you, I don't
images.
like my picture taken.
Yeah. So here, I'll show you. This is the Google event. I'll show you.
And it's easy
So one of the things she's talking about right now is
Audio Magic Eraser
improve the
identifies
audio
the
eraser that will
sounds in
take
the
background
video
noise out,
and
which is
sorts
cool.
them into distinct layers that you can control.
So here's the picture. Oh, wait a minute. This is the baby with the dog.
Noise cancellation.
I actually think the dog is part of the charm of it.
I would take the baby out.
No, that's really good.
Personally, leave
That is
the,
really good.
take
It
the
is.
baby,
That is
leave
pretty
the dog.
impressive.
But
Leo, go a second before that. Didn't it? And she said layers. I think what was before that showed the layers, and you could affect each one.
yeah. But
Recognize
if you look at it closely or listen closely while she's doing it, you'll hear that weird phasing in the background that you get when you have digital processing. And they downplayed that, but I think you would notice it, to be
T3
honest.
is so efficient. Not only does it run more ML models, more complex models, but in many cases, it runs them concurrently.
This
Which
is
is
their
why
tensor
Pixel
chip.
can deliver so
Their
many
G3. I think I went
unbelievably
back
helpful
too far.
experiences that no other phone can.
The clear calling is
using
pretty
Pixel
cool.
camera
Let me
capabilities,
find, this is the
which you'll see
camera,
in just a
the video,
The
the
trickiest conditions. Like when you're trying
Now
to
you're in
take
the
the
video.
group photo over and over and over again, only to find somebody is always blinking or rolling their eyes. Group photos are
Mom.
tough, but Pixel gives you the option to make them easier.
This is kind of
With the
cool.
new
So each face you could choose a best
feature
take.
in Google Photos. Best Take uses a series of photos taken closer together to help you create the shot you want.
Now, for this to work, you'll
You
obviously
can
have to
choose
take
what
a bunch
you
of photos
think
without people
is the
moving.
best expression.
Right.
Yeah. And you can hear the Google employees in the front row, by
Yeah.
the way.
Wait.
And you're
That
already
photo,
standing there with the same perspective. You're not on a tripod, but you're making it easy for the AI to be able to cycle through the different.
But we do
versions
that,
of their
don't we? I mean,
shots,
when we
you
take
know?
the Christmas shot, we go, joo, 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 joo.
Yeah.
The other thing they showed, which is kind of cool, I sometimes will do this. I don't know where I got the idea, but I say, okay, act surprised, and everybody's surprised. Okay, act grumpy, and everybody's grumpy. Okay, happy, and do 3 selfies
Right.
that way. But you could
Right.
actually do that and then pick the pictures you like.
Yep.
the mother in that end shot looked weird.
Well,
I will say, I noticed that as well. The chin area is strange.
And that's the problem is when you do this demo real quickly, it looks so cool. And then if you pixel peep it,
time.
If you pixel peep it, well,
let it cook.
Let's see. Look at the images. Yeah. That doesn't. Her head doesn't match her neck.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Which is an odd choice
to learn. It's generative AI, and it's going to have to learn over time.
Okay, but it's not there yet. Clearly,
right? They said December.
It is strange to use that as the demo, though.
Yeah.
I mean, why not choose one that looks?
Wait a minute. Look, we're expecting polish here from Google. Really? Come on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
This wasn't the most polished
not
event. Not the most polished event. All right.
Someone in the chat pointed out my last name is misspelled in the lower third. Thank you, chat. I did not.
Oh, it is not even close.
Myself.
That is not even.
Listen,
is there a missing something there?
And similarly, my last name is misspelled in, I think, the what's it called? Twitter handle, X handle.
Oh my God! Martineau. Are you
true.
French? Is your family French? Is that?
Yeah, family is French.
Are they from Paris? Or just like it?
They're from a small town in southern France that I'm forgetting the name of. But we at some point went back and founded the church that my great grandfather got baptized in or whatever. It was fun.
Oh,
yeah,
that's really cool. All right, I'm going to take a little break. Come back. We have more to discuss.
God, that was a lot of Google. That's enough to last us for
an hour
a month.
worth of Google in a show.
Yeah, I was going to say, is every episode
we've hit our Q4 quota. We're done for Q4.
We got it all, man. We did it. Paris Martineau, great to have you. Thank you for being here. She's at the information. What's your beat? I know you cover big tech, right?
Yeah, my beat as of this year is kind of just features and investigations on interesting subjects. So
you get to choose?
I will say, yeah, I mean, the last 9 months or so, it's been a lot about startups doing fraud or that sort of stuff, which is fun.
Yeah. I didn't realize the information is 10 years old now. I've been subscribing since it launched and incredibly happy. It is one of the reasons I subscribe is there's so many scoops, and we are often reporting on what the information has said about all this stuff.
And so is the rest of technology media.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been really nice to work at a place that has a sustainable and profitable business model that truly the way we operate is hire good reporters, let them do work that is important and break news and not much else. So it's quite nice.
Bravo. Jessica Lesson, who has been on our shows and was a reporter herself. I think she was at the Wall Street Journal at the last and decided, you know what, I'm going to stop working for the big companies and do my own thing, and has put together.
I will say, Leo, I think one of the things that changed the needle for her was she had to cover some sort of event, like this Google event today. I think it was an Apple day, and she was like, why am I live vlogging this?
Oh, yeah.
I should start my own company.
I know her. I know the feeling. I started my own company so I could live blog it, and that was where I went horribly.
Well, Jason's the one who knows the feeling because he had to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Well, now I have people to do that for me. Yeah.
Kudos to Mr. Howell.
Aunt Pruitt is also here. You've put together some very exciting new events in our club TWiT Discord. Tomorrow, you're interviewing John Scalzi, the esteemed, one of my favorite sci-fi authors. Is that his latest starter villain?
Starter Villains. This is his latest one. They sent me an advance copy, and I will be finishing it tonight. As you can see, I'm almost done with it. I'll finish it tonight, just in time for my interview with him tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it.
That should be fun.
This is a fun book, and he's done some great books.
He will also, his book will Kaiju, what is it called?
Preservation Society.
Kaiju Preservation Society will be the subject of Stacy's book club next month. So
that's right, November.
Renee Ritchie, former host on MacBreak Weekly, now creator liaison at YouTube in a fireside chat in November. And then it's the old farts, Jeff Jarvis, me, and Doc Searles in our shorts and black socks.
At the beach in our shorts
at
with
the
our
beach.
socks. And our sandals.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. That's December 7th, the day that will live in infamy. Many, many other events. If you're not yet a member of Club TWiT, that's how you get the ad-free versions of all these shows. That's how you get into the Club TWiT Discord with all the special shows that we put together, like Hands on Macintosh, Hands on Windows, the Untitled Linux Show, Scott Wilkinson's Home Theater Geeks, and on and on and on. It also is how you get that good feeling in your heart because you know you're supporting what we're doing here at TWiT. twit.tv/Club TWiT. And Pruitt, of course, community manager, so he does a great job putting together our programs. Are you going to be participating in the escape box?
Yes, sir. We have our escape room coming up on October 26th. I'm a tad bit nervous because Mr. Burke is going to be in there too.
Oh dear!
Who knows what the heck he's going? He's going to pull out?
So Lisa and
we've already said before, if we're going to be trapped on a deserted island, most people have said they want to be trapped on a deserted island with either me or Mr. Burke. So
you're like the professor.
Okay.
Burke is like Gilligan. I'll be honest.
No.
But you never know. We'll find out. That'll be fun. October 26th.
He's the sledgehammer.
Yeah. twit.tv/Club TWiT if you're not already a member. And thanks if you are. Our show today brought to you by, I love these guys, Fastmail. I've been a Fastmail subscriber for more than a decade. And I've said this over and over again. If email is important to you, stop using free email services. You're not going to get support. You're a product, not the customer. You need Fastmail. Email for people who care about their privacy. I have been such a Fastmail fan. It's got all the tools I want. They use the open source Cyrus server. They contribute back to it all the time. They also establish standards for authentication. I have all of my domains hosted, the DNS hosted at Fastmail. You can do that. And the reason I do that is because not only do they do a great job of that, they also give me email at those addresses, and it uses DKIM and SPF and all the email authentication protocols. So it's a really great way to have an infinite number of email addresses. If you're a business and you're still at hotmail.com, can you stop? Go to Fastmail and have your own domain name. They sell domain names now at Fastmail. They set up all the records for you so it works immediately. Or you can bring your own, which is what I did, which gives you the ability to both send and receive emails from your own domain. You can have multiple infinite email addresses at that domain. Fastmail will work with all existing email clients, so it's easy to move over from anything that you're using. They have a great webmail interface themselves. I think you'll really like it. They also have apps for iOS and Android. They have quick settings in their interface from the quick settings menu. Without even leaving the mailbox, you can choose a new theme, switch between light mode and dark mode, change your text size. There are all sorts of options related to the Fastmail screen you're viewing. You can create masked email addresses with one of our sponsors, Bitwarden or 1Password. That's a great way to even more greatly secure your logins, because not only do you have a unique password for every site, but you have a unique email for every site. It all goes in your Fastmail inbox, but it doesn't look like your Fastmail email. It's a unique email each time. You can generate new masked email addresses. You can autosave contacts. I do that, and then they have a very powerful Civ scripting language that will really help you organize your inbox. Of course, it's great for getting rid of spam too. So when I am getting an email conversation with somebody, that person's added to my contact list, and then I have a rule that says, well, if somebody's sending me email and they're in my contact list, put them in the important folder because I know them. That by itself is it's one of the best filters ever. You can use it for calendars and address book too. In fact, I've gotten rid of Google entirely, and now sync on my Macs and on my PCs and on my Linux boxes with Fastmail's calendar and contacts. That's my centralized contacts because it's private, it's secure. For over 20 years, Fastmail has been a leader in email privacy. The Fastmail team believes in working for customers as people to be cared for, not products to be exploited. as little as $3 a month. Yeah, sure, you can get free email, but you're paying for it with your privacy. Fast mail. Get started. Reclaim your privacy. Boost productivity. Fast mail. If you ask any geek, they'll all agree. The best email server anywhere. Easy to use. Very powerful. Privacy first. Very secure. Fastmail.com/twit. You can try it free right now for 30 days. Fastmail.com/twit. Use that /twit so they know you saw it here. Make email yours with Fastmail. Well, he wasn't as fast as I am, but Joe Esposito has come up with an image of Jeff Jarvis in his socks at the beach.
I think that looks relaxed.
That looks good.
And
that's you.
No, that is Brian Lawrence.
Oh.
Brian Lawrence did that.
It actually looks. You look a little like Dick Van Dyke.
I'll take that.
That's
okay.
pretty good, though.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Size 14 shoes. I mean, mine are big enough for 12. But
It looks like some sort of weird soccer shoe or rugby shoe.
Yeah.
Maybe you're
What
playing.
keeps the sand out?
Oh, that's it. Okay. I mean, that's good. So thank you. That wasn't Joe. We got to credit where credit is due. That is Brian
Joe listened to
D.
me. Didn't do it.
Lawrence. Thank you, Brian D. Lawrence.
Unfortunately, Horizon line's off a little bit, but we won't go there. Anyway, this week in Google.
How can an AI get the horizon line wrong? That's crazy. Should be straight. Come on, AI.
First thing I saw. Dadgummit.
Come on, AI. Oh boy, there's so many other things to talk about. You want to talk about the end of the red envelope? No more Netflix DVDs by mail. It stopped on September 30th, I should say. Yeah.
Devastating.
End of an era. But there is something to be reported on with this. We talked a little bit about it on Sunday on TWiT. It means that it's the end of the long tail for DVDs. So you could get by mail from Netflix any one of maybe 50,000 or even more DVDs. They had them all. But now, Netflix doesn't say, but there are probably fewer than 4,000 streaming titles on Netflix as a streamer.
Oh.
So that means there are many, many movies that you can no longer get. And that's a big deal, if you ask me.
I still like the idea of just the quality of having a physical disc when you play it back. Mr. Joe Esposito sent in a movie to me to check out not too long ago, and just seeing that Blu-ray quality and hearing that Blu-ray sound really made me miss being able to just go and grab those physical discs and how much I enjoyed it.
Oh, you don't did you when you moved out here, did you schlep 1,000 DVDs along with you?
No, but I have about 15 or so that I still watch.
That are like the DVDs. Yeah, I mean, you can make that case.
Guess. What's his most watched movie?
I'll let you guess first because it's going to catch you by surprise. The ones that I watched.
I'm going to say
Saturday Night Live.
Outlander. There can be only one.
Nope.
Or it's Highlander. That's Highlander with Sean Connery.
The disc that I watched the most that's down there.
Wait a minute. It's,
some would have said
Pearl Harbor. No.
Some would have said the Star Wars stuff.
Rocky.
But nope.
No.
Blazing Saddles.
Oh.
That's the disc that I watched the most down there. Blazing Saddles.
Farts.
Is that the
real
totally caught you off guard?
Sort of movie.
Do you watch DVDs, Paris? Is that? No.
I was about to say, I don't even know how to play a DVD now.
Yeah. Where would I stick it? I don't know where to put it.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not for a lack of trying. There have been movies that I've wanted to watch where I'm like, I can't find this anywhere on streaming. I would purchase a DVD. But one, places don't sell DVDs anymore.
No.
And places don't sell ways to, I guess I could buy a DVD player, but I don't even have a slot in my computer.
Right.
Gaming console.
Anymore. Right.
I use a gaming console.
That's the one last, and that's going away. As we know, Microsoft's going to.
I was about to say they're selling gaming consoles without the discs.
Yep.
Yeah, this is true.
It's just all streaming.
So that's problem number one. How do you play the physical media? You have to have a device that'll do it. But I worry about the fact that that's a lot of our heritage. That's like 95% of it that's going to suddenly be unavailable. I guess you could go to Amazon and buy the physical media. Still.
I mean, but I think that this is like
Somebody
a larger
would have it, right?
issue is that if companies just want to completely disappear content because they don't want to pay writers or actors residuals, they can. I mean, HBO did this when they switched to Max, I believe. They got rid of, for some reason I'm thinking Westworld, but that may not, or may not.
They moved a lot of their titles
they got rid of
off.
Westworld and a bunch of different titles are all gone, and you can't find. I mean, perhaps in those cases they're on Amazon, but if it's a film that came out 20, 30 years ago, where are you going to get that?
The story from Salon I was reading talked about a movie called Peter Brook's Mahabharata, which was a great DVD, and was available from Netflix in the red envelope, but is not available streaming. You can't get it anywhere. And I just went to Amazon to see if I could find it as a DVD. Somebody's selling it, but it's $400.
Son of a
What is
wing-wang.
Netflix doing with all those DVDs, I wonder? Are they going to sell them as a lot? Could someone out there buy the whole Netflix DVD collection? Could be a fun little business.
Yeah, John says you can get the VHS for $84. Do you have a VHS player? Huh? You'd probably get a VHS player for $25, so that's okay.
We'll teach you how to adjust the tracking. Yeah.
End of an era. End of an era. Supreme Court has agreed to review the Texas and Florida horrific social media cases.
Even this court will recognize the First Amendment. Surely?
I don't know. That's asking a lot from this court.
It is, Paris.
The social media laws would essentially allow states, a state's attorney general, to tell social media, take that down. Or conversely, you can't take that down. Leave that up. And of course, this all came about because Donald Trump was booted off of Twitter January 7th. And there are some people who think that was a bad idea. They want the ability as governmental agencies to say, no, you can't Twitter take down Donald Trump. But this is exactly what the First Amendment says, is that as a government agency cannot tell a private individual or a private company what they can and can't say, or can they? Well, we'll find out. The U.S. Solicitor General Elizabeth Prelogar told the justices the art of culling and curating the content users see is inherently expressive. In other words, protected by the First Amendment.
It is for speech, yes.
Yeah, even if that speech is collected, is almost wholly provided by users, and especially because the covered platform's only products are displays of expressive content, a government requirement that they display different content plainly implicates the First Amendment. I think that's pretty obvious.
I think so too. And they just said to the White House, you can't tell the platforms even that maybe it's better if you don't have lies about ingesting bleach because that violates the First Amendment. So you know if you can't mess with the platform's decisions that way, why could you mess with it this way? Because there's no logic.
The Texas law allows state residents to, as well as the Attorney General, to sue.
That's the whole game now.
If they believe they were unfairly banned or censored from a platform. The Florida law penalizes social media companies for blocking a politician's posts.
I will say, unfortunately, I think this is going to be a litmus test to just how detached from reality the Supreme Court is in its current state.
Might be, yeah. Ant, what was your question?
I have a question.
Yeah.
If a social media company was just flat out private and you had to pay to use it, every person that was on that platform paid some sort of a subscription fee to use it, and they said, you know what, we don't want, you're violating our terms of services with this particular post. Is that still the case for the Supreme Court?
What's the difference? If it's
well, no, I don't know if there are lines drawn when someone says, you know what, you're in my house and I expect you to act a certain way. You know,
that's the point.
You're paying to come into my club. I expect you to act a certain way.
You can do that.
Boot you out.
You can always do that.
You kick somebody out just because you don't like them.
And
I think the issue, Ant, is that you're trying to apply logic to this argument that is inherently illogical. The reason why these cases keep getting up to the Supreme Court is more just an act of political animus, and the fact that like being shadow banned by big tech has become a political talking point that, I mean, does work on both sides of the aisle, but has become a rallying cry for the right.
Yeah.
And I think it's more related to that than any grounding in actual, First Amendment law.
And to give you an example, Ant, you are the bouncer at a place where people pay to get in, our Club TWiT Discord.
Right.
We have the right to boot people. We do sometimes have to boot people.
And we do.
Yeah.
Have.
Because it's, it's a private entity. We're allowed to do that. And the government can't say, oh, you can't boot Joe Esposito. Reinstate him. They can't say that. They shouldn't be able to say that, I think.
Right.
I was preparing a suit right now.
There are cases. I mean, for instance, there are golf clubs in San Francisco that didn't allow Jewish people in for a long time. Government forced them to do that, or black people, or women. There was a famous case in Petaluma. There was a women's health club. It was a very good health club. Lisa was a member. And some guy came along and sued him, saying, well, you can't have a women-only health club. I thought it was a very good idea. And Lisa loved it. And they were put out of business because the guy sued him.
What's the ridiculous thing where powerful men in San Francisco go off to the woods and pee against trees?
The Bohemian Grove.
Bohemian Grove. Is that still men only?
Oh, God, yes. You can't let women in there. They're peeing on trees. I spoke at the Bohemian Grove many years ago when the internet was just getting started. They said,
how many trees did you piss on?
I only peed on one.
3, 5?
I felt obligated to, though, because that was the whole thing. I also remember it was Bastille Day, so it was July 14th. And
I also remember it was Bastille Day.
I also remember it was Bastille Day when I peed on the tree.
He is Mr. Laporte.
No, the reason I remember that is there was a fairly drunken musical group that I understood came from the lodge where George Schultz was a member, playing the Marseillaise, marching around while I was peeing on the tree. I don't know. Just a little memory from
I love
Leo's
that's a
memory
really
book.
core memory for you.
Yeah, I'll never forget it. Allons enfants de la patrie. Would you pay?
Did you sing while peeing along with them?
I might have.
Yeah.
It's just part of the experience.
It's part of being a powerful man.
Part of being a powerful man. No women allowed. Actually, there were plenty of women. Oh, I shouldn't go on into that. Let's move
They
on.
have the shiwis.
Thanks. There were women there.
Sorry, we don't need to go there.
They weren't allowed to spend the night. Let's put it that way. Meta. Okay, would you pay for access to Instagram or Facebook? And how much would you pay?
Well,
if it didn't have ads. Ad-free.
Have ads.
Ad-free, I should say. An ad-free version of it. I might pay. I don't know, though. Meta wants to charge, according to the Wall Street Journal, $14 a month.
Okay, come on. That's a lot.
One of them, 17 for both. What a deal.
Hold on. What do you get out of it? What's your return on your investment?
Ad-free versions of the Facebook. This is in Europe where they think they're going to be forced to do this.
It's a response to European privacy.
Because the European Union has said, well, you shouldn't be able to track people's digital activity for ad targeting, which, of course, is their business. So they say, okay, fine. If you don't want us to do that, we could have a paid version. And I think this is a little bit of an FU from Facebook to the EU. FU, EU.
People have been begging for this for a long time.
But not for
get rid of the ads and everything's okay, so fine. Here's a version.
I might pay $5 for an ad-free version of Insta. Maybe.
That's what TikTok is offering, right? For
TikTok's going to do that too. Yeah.
Platform.
Is that happening?
Okay, so Twitter Blue, remember back in the day was it $3? Right?
Yeah, and it's now
when I first signed up for Twitter Blue, it was like $3, and I was like, I would have paid back in the heyday of Twitter when it wasn't for a blue check. I would have paid $15 a month for Twitter, but that's because I was addicted to it.
Well, you were addicted, quote unquote, but you also got some good value out of it from your day to day.
The nuzzle feature was great, where you could essentially see the trending articles that people in your network had. But I think that the issue with this is that I don't think that many people are going to crave an ad-free experience enough to shell out $14 a month.
No.
There has to be something else.
TikTok is, they say, according to a report by the Android Authority. Hello, Android Authority. Testing an ad-free monthly subscription plan, $4.99 a month. They have confirmed that. This is not, they've confirmed it to TechCrunch. This is not The service says it's limited to a single English-speaking market outside the U.S. But that's how these tests often go. TikTok is interesting. Would you pay $5 for TikTok? I wouldn't. But I think there's some people who would. Yeah, I love TikTok.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't see that. But
there just would have to be something else. I mean, I don't find advertising that intrusive on social media, especially not TikTok.
Instagram is maybe a little bit over the top. I haven't used Facebook.
It is.
Yeah.
It's just because you buy everything it shows you, Leo.
I do, and I'm paying them. It's actually cheaper for me to give them $14.99 and not see ads than it would be to see the ads. I spend much more than that every month on crap that I don't want.
It is fascinating, though, as big as TikTok is, and at least in my experience, I don't see nowhere near the amount of ads I see on the Instagram side of things.
I think a lot of times on TikTok, you're seeing an ad and don't know it.
Okay, yeah.
Do you think?
That.
I think, I don't know, it's easy enough to swipe by them, but I think there's an ad every 5 or 6 TikToks.
Well, what's a TikTok ad versus what's a influencer?
Like here's so the
post.
Third swipe up, Killers of the Flower Moon, which is an ad for a movie.
I love your advertising. I love the look into your advertising profile we're getting here, Leo. Keep going.
Okay.
I get
she's
Louis.
judging you right now.
Commercial I hate most
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Then a woman in a bikini, then another woman in a bikini, then a woman in a short skirt. Is this an ad? No. Then they're remodeling a bus.
Jeff's knees.
Then a Jewish wedding with an unexpected surprise. Then somebody live doing... What is going on with TikTok Live? It is weird. Now this woman is trying
I think that
I get
TikTok
a lot of
Live is
those
just a
live
ploy to
things
keep
popping
you in the app.
Here's
for
a
as
woman
long as possible. Oh,
in a bikini made out of tape.
This is because Leo stays on the wrong thing.
I should, my daughter
There
tells
you
me
go.
this. She says, it's your
Caprice and
fault
power.
because you linger. I said, but how do I not linger? She's not wearing any clothes. So this is Sun Power. So that's an ad, right? I'm 24. My son is 8. Okay, who cares? Home Depot. So you get some home improvement. Anchor wireless charger. Is this an ad? Yeah, it is. See, it says shop. This is an ad from a company called Hidden
I don't think
Steals.
that's an ad, but I think that is created content that they can get
with a link.
commission from. The next one is an ad because it says sponsored.
I'm seeing more of the creator stuff. I think I've seen 3 ads so far, maybe every third or fourth swipe, if that. But everything else I'm seeing is like creators.
But see, part of the problem is,
putting
as you pointed
stuff
out, Paris, is that I can't tell the difference between this, whatever this is, and an ad.
Yeah, that's.
I think it says
an ad,
sponsored
right?
to bottom
Really
left-hand corner.
Where bottom left-hand corner?
Bottom left.
Look how small that is.
I don't know. My eyes go immediately to that, but it's also because I
can't get rid of
hate
it
consuming
now.
advertising, and I'm always looking to swipe through it. But
Yeah. So the first thing you look at when you're doing TikTok is a little sponsored thing down here, which is intentionally very tiny.
I mean, I'm not saying that I'm exclusively focusing on it, but it's the first thing my eye is drawn to. When I
Am I
see
in live or
something that is
something?
clearly sponsored, I immediately notice it and keep swiping.
Yeah. Okay, so that's good. There's a
know.
little there. Yeah, see,
it's
look how
pretty
small
hard.
that is. It's so tiny.
It's pretty hard to differentiate.
I can't even
for
read
sure.
it. All right,
That's
so
'cause you're old.
but I wouldn't pay $4.99 for this experience without that. There's
Yeah,
another one.
it's not a big- see,
this
there
is
you
like
go.
every third or fourth one, I think. It's quite a few of these. That's interesting. So now I'll look for that. So it's every third swipe. That's too much.
And they've kind of got it in there.
There it is.
Yep. Hey, semi-glutides.
Wow.
You're going to
Wow.
buy that through TikTok.
Yeah, let me get my Rebelsis at TikTok. Oh, but these are tablets. Wait a minute. That's good. I don't mind that so much. Sorry. TikTok is testing this project only in one market outside the U.S., but I wonder if this might also come here. This is what it looks like. Pick your plan. Choose whether you will see ads. There's standard, free, enjoy TikTok with ads. We'll also use your data. We also use data from third parties. Ads
That's
will be
the thing.
personalized. Yeah.
Is that you can, it takes away with both companies, it takes away the privacy
tracking
stuff.
But does it? Because I have to point out.
but does it? That's the question.
They don't say, as we do, by the way, when we say ad-free for Club TWiT, we say and no tracking because there'd be no redirects. But
Well,
they don't
TikTok
say
is
that
still going
here.
to personalize, so it's going to have
Yeah, it has to
cookies
track
on you.
you.
It has to.
Yeah. Okay.
Or whatever they do. Yeah.
So, Paris, you would pay for Twitter, but you wouldn't pay for
old
$14.99 for old Twitter.
not
new Twitter.
not
Nobody would pay for that piece
Yeah.
of junk.
New Coke,
old
new
Twitter, but frankly, no other platforms.
No
really.
other platform.
I mean,
And Ant, would you pay anything for this stuff?
I would not, but I know people that would pay for the Facebook premium because they make a lot of money off of their Facebook traffic.
Yes. But what strikes me, I said it earlier on the show when Paris brought up the links, is that it is the online companies, the last of the open web goes away. When you kill links, when you put paywalls around everything, all that's left out in the prairie is tumbleweed and weeds. It's bad. And it makes me say that I should have come to Mastodon years before.
Well, we
that was
welcome you now.
That's similar to what Cooper Quinton of the EFF was saying this morning on Floss Weekly, twit.tv/Floss, open source developer show, open source community show we have here on the network. He was talking about pretty much the same thing. It's such a crap show on social media with all of the tracking and data hoarding that's going on. If we want to fight back, we should be posting more to these platforms like the Fediverse or Blue Sky and whatnot.
Did you get Did y'all get the national alert this morning or this afternoon?
Oh yeah, the one that was going to activate all of our microchips.
Yeah. Did it activate your microchip? Was that the conspiracy?
I still have. The conspiracy is that all of us vaccinated folks were going to be zombified, and that the great reckoning was going to come, and then Donald Trump would return to power. But
and this time as Speaker of the House, right?
Listen, I mean the floor is open.
Gosh.
I've just got my sixth vaccine, my sixth shot on Monday, so I guess I've been activated because I heard it loud and clear. Here is a screenshot on your phone of the emergency alert that you might have received. John, don't judge me. It says, wait a minute.
Oh, no.
John's switching away. He doesn't want to show it.
I was going to say, Leo, we discussed before the show we're not allowed to curse.
Okay,
a particular term there.
Fine. That was from Yanko Rentgers, okay? All right. Yeah, it made the noise. I don't know if we gained anything by that, but at least we know that if we're going to all die in a nuclear holocaust, we'll get a little bit of a warning. So that's good.
But the AI will turn it off before it kills us. So,
It's weird to everybody. Everybody in the country got it, right? It was on all cell phones.
Yeah.
It was a fun little moment for all of us, bringing the nation
Were you
together.
surprised,
You can
Paris?
disable
Did you know
those alerts.
No,
but I wonder
not
if
that
people
one.
had the alert disabled if they still got it.
Yes, they did.
Oh, no, you
could not
can't.
delete.
I have the alerts disabled, and I still got it.
I don't want no stinking Amber Alert. I don't care if somebody's child got abducted. To heck with
Listen,
that.
I don't care what's going on with the kids, but I guess I have to get this one.
Tornadoes, okay,
I was
maybe.
surprised.
Yeah, no, there's no way to turn that off. That one was forced on all of us. In fact, even if you had an inactive SIM, it would still have gone off. It did not go off on my Pixel, though. I removed the SIM from the Pixel so I could put it in the new phone, and it did not go off on this. But
yeah, I was about to say, this has to be a problem for you, Leo. Man with dozens of phones. Was it just kind of
it was a little
cacophony?
noisy in my office. It was like a cuckoo clock at midnight. It was the clockmaker's house at midnight. It was very loud. Anyway. I guess it happened. I don't know if it means anything, but it happened. It worked. What else? What else is going on?
So much.
There's a lot in here. Spotify, remember Spotify's problem was that the record labels decided whether they were going to make money or not. They were completely at the mercy of the three big record companies. So they diversified, first with podcasts, which
isn't going well for them.
Did not go that well. They spent a lot of money for Joe Rogan and Call Her Daddy and hundreds, actually $500 million, I think. And they've
Prince
now... Prince and Meghan and Prince Harry and Meghan Markle and the Obamas. And a lot of that stuff fell through, and it wasn't... I think a lot of people thought celebrity podcasting was going to be big, and it wasn't. So Spotify seems to have lost money on that. Their new thing is audiobooks. They are offering paying subscribers 15 hours a month of audiobooks.
Which doesn't get you through a whole book in many cases.
To me, I feel like this is treating audiobooks the same way Spotify treats music, which is as wallpaper.
Yeah.
And I think it's the kind of devalues, and some authors agree, devalues the audiobook, just as they've, in a sense, devalued music. But I understand why they want to do it. Their business needs them to have other sources of revenue.
By the way, speaking of audiobooks, if I may, I got the good news that at the end of the month, I will be recording, at long last, the Gutenberg Parentheses.
Oh, and you're going to be the voice, huh?
You're going to read it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, nice.
That's so fun.
I will be speaking slowly.
Lisa won't listen to it, won't read it until it's audiobook. And I offered to read it to her, and she said, I want to hear you. I want to hear Jeff. So she'll be much happier.
That's why they said yes.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah. So if you start recording it next month, it'll be just in time for Christmas. What a wonderful Christmas gift for everyone.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, while I'm in
recording
mode,
process for that take?
4 days. 4 days.
What?
Please.
That's all?
And it's torture.
Really?
It's torture.
That is quick.
This is a 328-page book, Jeff.
Well, I don't read
amazing.
the footnotes.
Oh, okay.
You're just going to have to not talk for a couple of weeks after that.
By the way, I insisted on not doing it on Wednesday, so I'm going to be here and torture you.
Thank you. Give us a free paragraph. Just read a little bit of it, just so we can get an idea of what it's going to sound like.
All right. Okay.
Just because you are not going to be doing enough of this.
Jeff Jarvis
reading
the Gutenberg parenthesis. Wait a minute. I got to do the right thing. Audible hopes you've enjoyed this podcast. No, that's wrong.
End, Leo.
This. Go ahead, please.
All right, we'll see how long I go before you stop me. 1, the parenthesis. Gutenberg's era, Print's era, the era of the book for the last 550 years, was a grand exception in the course of history. That is what Tom Pettit, Lars Ole Sauerberg, and Marion Borch, professors at the University of Southern Denmark, assert in the theory they name the Gutenberg parenthesis.
Now I know why
they're going to make
they're going to make you read this, because only you can pronounce those weird names.
Exactly.
He knows what the names
Exactly.
So Leo, I need you to be honest with me now about something. Did you really take Latin?
Yeah.
So there's some Latin words in here. I'm going to need pronunciations on. Do you think you can? Are you reliable?
Here's the problem. I'll just give you a little hint, Jeff. Everybody who spoke Latin is dead.
But there's an accepted way
and has
to
been
do it,
dead
yes?
for 100,000 years. No, there's two different. So here's part of the problem.
No one's going to refute.
So I studied Latin in the 70s, and right in the middle, we were saying Cicero, and my Latin teacher said, "Oh, hey, they've decided it's Cicero." I am not kidding. They changed the pronunciation in the middle, and then there's a church way to say it, which is Cicero. So Roman Catholic Latin has a different pronunciation than Old Latin, the traditional way of saying it, like Athenaeum. And then there's a new way of saying it, Amoama Samat, Amama Samama Samat. But if you want, I will do my best. You're gonna have
for example,
aren't you going to have a producer who will do this for you?
No, they won't. They don't do it. In fact, I get so mad at so many books who, book about Germany and they can't pronounce German.
Micah Sargent also, by the way, studied Latin, so we could be a team of two. Yeah,
a lot of Latin.
I need some French too.
Yeah,
I'll do the German.
Well, Paris can do the French.
Index Librorum Prohibitorum. How would you say that?
Well, not like that.
Well,
I think the rolling of the R's is a little much.
I thought it was nice. I can't do it in Spanish.
I thought it sounded nice.
I never could do it. I just did it.
So Mike is saying, and this is right, we used to say Veni, Vidi, Vici. I came, I saw, I conquered. And then all of a sudden it's Winnie, Witty, Wiki.
Oh, that sounds
okay,
awful.
no.
I know. So I think you want the traditional. So index is correct. That's good. That's a good start. What was the next word?
Librorum.
Say it again.
Librorum.
Oh, library or librorum of books.
Librorum.
The index of books. Librorum. Okay, yeah, that's good. Librorum.
Prohibitorum.
Prohibitorum. That's very good. You did it. Just don't roll the R's. That's all right.
I never do. I just
index prohibitorum.
Prohibitorum.
That's a little Italianate. Latin is a very good language to learn, and I know Michael would agree because it prepares you. Yeah, it's the old days. But Micah's young.
It prepares you for kind of the uselessness of most endeavors.
Well, for Jeopardy, frankly, is what it prepares you for.
That's actually smart.
Yeah, see? You should be on Jeopardy. I feel like, I don't know why, but I think have you ever been on Jeopardy?
No.
You feel like a Jeopardy.
My knowledge is very specific.
like
I'm not sure that it would go well for Jeopardy.
Alex, I don't want that category. Can you give me another one?
Let's do a show. Let's do Geek Jeopardy.
You know, we've done that.
We
Jeopardy.
We've done that. We actually have done that. We used to do that in our new Screensavers show. We would have we called it the Game of Geeks. And we had
I was going to say, if there was a tech and business news Jeopardy, I would clean
This
up.
was so much fun.
Club Twit
This was so much fun. So there'd be
Test
trivia
that.
questions. But then the other thing is, this was fun. We put on a blindfold, and Anthony would hand us a geek object, and you'd have to identify it by touch alone.
What?
That was hard.
Explain more.
It's
Geek object?
Yeah, like a Palm Pilot. And you'd have to go,
I think that's an
Gotta get your hands on an
RS-232C.
Amazon Fire Phone for that.
perfect example. That would be a
You
hard one.
you guess it's an iPhone 12 when it ends up being an iPhone 14?
If you're a real
Really?
geek.
Stuff like that?
No,
Wow.
yes, if you're a real geek, you should be able to, just judging by the camera
You
bump
can-
alone, to distinguish the different versions of the iPhone.
I was going to say, yeah, you could gum that iPhone, kind of
Gum it.
around in there.
Wow. Wow. This
There
sounds
you
like
go.
That's,
Exactly.
tastes like titanium.
sounds like we have a future Club
Recycled
Twit event
aluminum.
coming up, sir. That's what this sounds like.
The U.S. issues its very first fines for, this would be a good Jeopardy question. For, what do you think? The very first fines from the Federal Communications ever for
Like tele scams,
nope,
telemarketing.
$150,000. I'll give you a hint. It was to Dish Network. Now, do you know? Do you think? Do you know?
Dish Network.
For space junk.
Satellites?
Yes.
Oh.
The company Dish admitted liability over the EchoStar 7 satellite, which was first launched in 2002. Dish was supposed to move, at the end of its life in 2022, it was supposed to move its satellite 186,000 miles out. It was in geostationary orbit, I guess. But it ran out of gas, and they could only move it 76 miles. And it's been floating around a junker. So they fined him $150,000.
What do they do about it, though? Can they do anything?
Okay, if you've got some junk in space, I feel like $150,000 probably doesn't mean much to you.
No.
In fact, Dish made $16.7 billion last year in revenue. So
Christ.
it's
Well,
not.
what happens when all of Elon's hundreds of satellites are deprecated? What happens?
Well, I
That's
guess.
the Tesla that's in space.
That's
Well,
the
that's way out
thesis
there.
here is that the FCC could, if you don't clean up after yourself, could fine you. But you make an excellent point. So what? They can't.
Yeah.
The satellite's out of gas. So there is. Was it the Chinese that had a satellite, space debris garbage collector satellite that would go around and grab satellites? Or was that in the movie Moonraker? Maybe.
Okay, so all right.
Seems
so,
like a,
so
that seems like a cute
that's
animated
the thing.
film, honestly.
They're going to retrieve these. Someone's going to go to
Dish
space and retrieve these
Dish isn't.
things.
Yeah.
But no, what I'm asking is that does the FCC expect companies to go back out there and get this deprecated stuff and then what? Put it into recycling some
I guess so.
kind of way?
FCC Enforcement Bureau Chief Loyan Egal, that's pronounced Weiny Weedy Witchy, said, as satellite operators become more prevalent and the space economy accelerates, we must be certain that operators comply with their commitments. This is a breakthrough settlement making very clear the FCC has strong enforcement authority and capability to enforce its vitally important space debris rules. But they aren't being, are they going to clean it up? They can't. According to NASA, there are more than 25,000 pieces of space debris measuring over 10 centimeters.
That travel at this incredible speed and can just rip through.
Orbital speed is 17,500 miles an hour.
Oh, that stresses me out.
Yeah.
There's so much space junk up
There's
there.
a lot of well, space is big. That's the good
I
news.
know, but
Bill, my luck.
absolutely.
I'm
I was
trying
like,
to-
I live the sort of life that I'm going to go outside one day to get coffee, and it's going to be like space junk, space junk, space junk.
Well, I have behind me, Paris, an actual piece of space junk from Skylab.
Did it hit you?
No, it hit Stan Thornton in Esperance, Western Australia.
The International
$10,000.
Space Station has had to dodge space junk 32 times in the last 23 years. And it sees it coming and it fires its thrusters and dodges it. So it actually is a problem. And the last time was when the Russian didn't the Russians destroy a satellite? They blew it up, and then when the space junk was flying around, they had to dodge it. Let's see, what else? Let's talk about Amazon. That's one of the things you cover, Paris Martineau.
Heard of it?
Some of it, a little bit of it. Amazon, according to an FTC lawsuit, had a secret Project Nessie. Nessie is the nickname for the Loch Ness Monster. I don't know if this is related. It was an algorithm used to set prices. I think we all know that Amazon does that.
Well, and every retailer does this. Every
why
retailer
not?
on Earth does this.
Why not?
According to the Wall
FTC's
Street
going
Journal,
berserk.
the algorithm helped Amazon improve its profit on items across shopping categories.
No.
Why not?
How dare they?
Why is this news? Jeez. Sorry.
But an algorithm did it, and we know that algorithms are evil.
It's true.
Some algorithms are people with calculators, like physical calculators.
Here's
same
why it's a
thing.
problem. Partly because it isn't a human. It's very fast, right? Nessie was used in what employees, this is again the Wall Street Journal, saw as a promotional spiral. Amazon would match a discounted price from a competitor, let's say Target.com. Other competitors would follow, lowering their prices. When Target ended its sale, Amazon and the other competitors would be locked at the low price because they were matching each other. They no longer paying attention to Target. The algorithm helped Amazon recoup money and improve margins. The FTC's lawsuit redacted an estimate of how much it alleged the process, quote, extracted from American households.
I'm sure that Walmart never does that. Never.
Amazon says
retail.
The FTC grossly mischaracterizes the tool. Project Nessie was a project with a simple purpose to try to stop our price matching from resulting in unusual outcomes where prices became so low that they were unsustainable. The project ran for a few years on a subset of products. It didn't work as intended. We scrapped it several years ago.
Sounds like a likely story.
Do you have a sense of whether or not this is, they're talking about raising prices, but is that on Amazon's like first party kind of private label goods, or is that on third party goods? I'd assume it has to be the former,
part of this
right?
FTC suit is about third party, right? Amazon, and particularly Amazon's power over third parties, which the FTC contends artificially raises prices for consumers. I'll give you an example. I have a friend who used to sell a air purifier on Amazon. This is many years ago. Amazon copied the product. In fact, he thinks they actually just bought a bunch of them and peeled the label off of it and sold them.
Okay.
And then Amazon lowered the price below his price, right? So that everybody would buy that. He brought his price. Oh, is it Gizmo?
Gizmo, yeah.
There's Gizmo. Let's everybody, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to interrupt this story so you can meet the little fur baby named Gizmo. We have black and white cats too. They're the best kind. And she matches her sweater. Perfect.
I was say sort of blending in there.
Yeah, she's got camouflage.
Gizmo, you got to turn towards the camera.
Gizmo.
Trying to no part of the lens.
She says, no, I don't want to go there. I'm going that way.
And she's claws in, so
Is
we're
she
just going to have to stay here.
Is she just going to, wants to be a muff?
I think she does, I think she just wants to put her butt in new and inventive places that I can't.
We have a cat that does that. In fact, Paris did that this morning to me. About 4 a.m. Hello, Paris. Yes.
Wait. Your cat is named Paris?
Yes, it is.
I missed that.
Oh, that's so fun.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. We named our cat after you.
Listen,
There's Samantha and there's Paris. No, we named her after the city.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, to the point of Amazon, I think part of the issue has been that, like what you were saying with this air purifier example, Amazon seemingly screwed over or left a lot of third-party sellers feeling like they were left in the lurch because they would build up these large brands, have people come into Amazon to get their product, then Amazon would create kind of the duplicate of it and undercut them.
Exactly.
In other examples, Amazon may not have created kind of a duplicate product, but in order to stay ranked at a high place in the search page, sellers would have to make sure that their product isn't being sold for a lower price anywhere else. So they would have to keep their things artificially low, which is where things like this Project Nessie come in and get complicated, because as Amazon tries to find a way to kind of balance that out, it has a lot of unintended consequences.
That's exactly it. The FTC says that Amazon forbids companies who are selling on Amazon from offering their product at a lower price elsewhere. And that's what costs American consumers money. The FTC says because Amazon's cost to sell is higher than other platforms due to its fees, it creates a higher price point for goods, not just on Amazon now, but because of those restrictions everywhere. Because sellers have to use the Amazon price as their floor. That's the lowest price they can offer it at.
Yeah, and because the Amazon price, or the way Amazon operates currently, to sell on Amazon isn't as simple as you just list your product on Amazon. You have to ship all your goods to the Amazon warehouse, pay Amazon like storage fees, pay Amazon's logistics stuff. Increasingly, you have to pay Amazon ads in order to make sure that your products rank high enough in search. There's a lot of extra fees on there.
Right, but let's play with that. One, Amazon could not offer any of those services and only sell their stuff, but they actually enable all kinds of new merchants to do stuff. One, two.
At a cost.
If you try to get your stuff in a grocery store
or more,
you're going to pay all that in a grocery store or any store where you're trying to get shelf space. You're going to pay all kinds of fees and advertising. It's how retail operates.
Yeah.
Right. So you're right,
and that's why I think that I agree with you, and that's why I think this you can't sell your product for less anywhere else aspect of Amazon's kind of requirement for sellers is important, because this is how most retailers, this is how, when you go to a grocery store, people have paid to put their products there. There's a whole, complicated supply chain there. But, if I go there and try to get Tate's cookies, I could also go to Tate's Cookies, their, location here in New York, and get the cookies at a potentially lower price there if that grocery store had marked them up. I think the fact is
Tate's
that
cookies, particularly cool Brooklyn cookies. I'm not going to find out about
they're
this.
like a Hamptons based cookie brand that then got purchased by a private equity firm and are now like a multinational conglomerate, I think owned by Mondelez. So probably bad example, but first product.
I want some now.
Excuse me,
They're
I
actually
can't.
very good. They're
Can you
a
send the
crunchy
servant
cookie.
out to get the Tates, please?
It's so funny. If you said that Tate's were a Long Island-based cookie, you wouldn't get so excited.
You wouldn't be mocked, no.
But you say Hamptons, and it's like,
La-di-da.
Yes, in Southampton, quaint cottage whipping up cakes, cookies, and other baked goods. Tate's Bake Shop.
I have a bone to pick with Tate's because I went there this summer thinking, oh, great, I'm going to get fresh Tate's cookies. But no, they don't make them fresh anymore because they are they're
powerhouse now.
They're made in Switzerland now. Yeah.
Yeah, they're made God knows where.
They have limited edition pumpkin spice cookies.
Yeah.
Honestly, Tate's cookies are great. If you like a crunchy cookie, try them out.
Yeah, all right.
The only cookie that
so you went all the way to Southampton to this little cute little bake shop?
I was in Southampton.
Oh, okay.
I had like family staying there.
Okay.
We happened to be within a 15-minute walk of the Tate's cookie place, and I was like, great.
It's kind of, it's sad because this is so cute and quaint, and now it's just a packaged cookie. It's like no different than Keebler.
Fun fact about Tate's Bake Shop is there was a great book I'm forgetting the name of recently. It was like We Are the Plunderers or something, about the scourge of private equity. And they were looking, as part of it, they asked kind of private equity interest groups, do you have any examples of how private equity has really helped the world? And Tate's Cookies is their number one example of, we bought Tate's Cookies, this small Southampton cookie shop, and now we've turned it into this national brand that's in retailers all across America, and we sold it to Mondelez for like a huge profit. I'm not sure if it was actually Mondelez,
like
but
Mark
it's some
Cuban.
large company like that.
It is called Plunder. I'm going to get this book. That sounds fascinating. The Scourge of Private Equity. And we've seen this again.
We Are the Plunderers?
Newspapers.
Yeah. Plunder by Brendan Ballou. It's a Harper.
Or no, I'm thinking of These Are the Plunderers. How Private Equity Runs and Wrecks
Leo just bought
America
that book.
by Gretchen Morgensen and Joshua Rosner. Different but similar plunder-themed private equity book.
It's very similar. Plunder, Private Equity's Plan to Pillage America by Brendan Ballou. It's very
I
similar.
gotta read that one as well. you know?
Is that Amazon's version?
That's interesting. Okay, so so Brendan Ballou is a federal prosecutor and special counsel for private equity in the Justice Department's Antitrust Division. So he sounds like
That's
he
interesting.
knows whereof he speaks. But I will. So what's the other one? These Are the Plunderers?
These Are the Plunderers, which was recently named like the best. It won the Best in Business Book Awards. It was, or as a finalist there. It's by
How private equity
a financial
runs
journalist
and wrecks runs and wrecks America. Wow, Gretchen Morgensen, winner of the Pulitzer Prize. Well, it must be true if you've got two books about the same thing.
I mean, if you have an industry, obviously there are, I'm sure, examples of good actions by private equity firms, but you have an industry that largely is about extracting value from companies at scale. Of course, there are going to be unintended consequences, or in some cases, intended consequences.
From the information, Anthropic, which is one of the big three AI companies, is in talks to raise $2 billion from Google and others. They've already raised money from Amazon, $1.25 billion. So Anthropic is like so OpenAI's got Microsoft money, and now Anthropic comes along and is getting money from Google and Amazon. I think there's going to be a battle here. We use Anthropic's
absolutely.
Claude AI for some of our stuff, and I was very impressed with what Claude.
What do you use Claude for?
Claude, go ahead, Ant. You know better than I probably.
We do a lot with our show notes and transcription summaries, and it cleans it up. It makes it a lot faster for us to put stuff out there because it goes through and listens to the show. Because right now, Mr. Jason Howell is the producer of This Week in Google, and he can't always just be able to note down every little point that we say. But Claude can step in and pull out some of those interesting things and let him know what was said, so he can stick it into the show notes.
Nice.
We have the transcribed show notes, and then the AI will go through the transcription and generate bullet points. But what's interesting, so here's an example, is a lot of this comes down to the prompt. So Anthony wrote this prompt and showed it to me, and I said, I don't like it. It's kind of it's in passive voice. It sounds very mediocre. So he rewrote the prompt and got it really good. In fact, I have to find the rewritten prompt, but he got it so it added emoji bullet points and stuff. It was really impressive.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Remember that?
Yeah.
It was like I said, I take it all back. This we should be doing. This is better than any human would do, frankly.
And for the humans to do it, it's kind of torture.
It is not fun.
It takes away. Yeah.
But we still want human oversight. So editors and producers still go through the show notes, make sure Claude's not hallucinating. But as it turns out, that's something, and we've talked about this before with Notebook LM and in other contexts, that's something that AI seems to be very good at. If it's given a corpus of information and says, you say, just summarize this body of information, it's very good at that. There's no hallucinating involved because it's coming from an actual source. And it seems to be very good at that. And you can quickly, readily check it, yeah. So it seems quite good. Anyway, Anthropic will be the next big one, I think. Google has said.
Who runs Anthropic? Are they long-termism nuts like the others or not?
Yes, they're TESCREAL.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, let me.
I'm sure whoever runs it has probably peed on that same tree as Leo. I know nothing to back us up, but it feels correct.
I think I want to say Anthropic is. Are they related to Alpha? I'm not sure.
Founders Daniela Amodai and Dario Amodai.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe they're not TESCREAL. Maybe they believe.
So I just did something
of ideas.
while you were in commercial. I went to books.google.com and I searched, as one can, the Musk and the Bankman-Fried biographies.
Two hot books.
The word long-termism does not appear in either
one, even though that is clearly
that's core to this story.
Yeah.
They are cultists.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting. By the way, the Elon Musk, Walter Isaacson book, #1 bestseller. A lot of people reading it. Great takedown on The Verge by, was it Parrott?
Gary Steingart's review in The Guardian was spectacular takedown.
Yeah.
The New Yorker, I'm told, had a great takedown. Takedowns everywhere.
Yeah. Let me see.
What do you mean by takedown?
Just that he got too in love with Musk and didn't. That it's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know Walter from back in the day.
Do you? Yeah.
He wants to do his
pretty prestigious. This is Elizabeth Lopato.
Aspen Institute.
How the Elon Musk biography exposes Walter Isaacson. One way to keep Musk's myth intact is simply not to check things out.
That's
essentially, he took on faith, Isaacson took on faith everything Musk said. And we know that Musk says a lot of things that aren't true. And
he just wants the hero narrative.
Isaacson
and in the case of Michael Lewis, his star is falling faster than a.
Oh no, he did.
satellite,
Michael
too.
Lewis was embedded with Samuel Bankman-Fried on the way up and on the way down with FTX. His new book just came out this week. So what are people saying about it? I haven't seen it
Its
yet.
reviews are similar, as they both wanted to put these guys in the boxes that they're used to writing about.
Yeah.
And they don't fit.
Yeah.
And they couldn't adapt. I mean, I haven't read either book, nor do I intend to. Are you going to read Musk, Leo?
No, I have knowing what I know about Isaacson and about Elon, there's a great book by Ashley Vance about Elon Musk that I would recommend instead. This is before all of the Twitter stuff.
Right.
But I think was quite accurate. Lewis's book, Going Infinite, is all about Samuel Bankman-Fried.
I think it was the Washington Post had a good review of it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right here. Michael Lewis goes close on Sam Bankman-Fried, maybe too close.
Yeah.
Fails to capture the nuances of crypto. And I like Michael Lewis. I think he's written, Sport Ball was
he just
great.
got in trouble for the what's the story of the football player who
The
was
Blind Side, yeah. Yeah, that was a problem because it turns out Michael Orr says anyway that if you saw the movie with Sandra Bullock, it looked like these I have to say the movie made me queasy. These wonderful white saviors who came along and found this poor black kid and made him a great football star. Even from the movie, I was very queasy. I never read the book, and apparently Lewis was not skeptical enough, and now.
Well, and the subject now has said he earned a lot of money. The family earned a lot of money that he didn't
get any
earn
of it
as the very subject.
Right.
And that Lewis was part of this, and then Lewis defended the family immediately. So his star is falling, in my view, like Isaacson's.
Oh, that's too bad.
But I haven't read the books, so maybe it's unfair as hell of me.
That white savior
I'm not gonna spend my
narrative.
time doing so.
Yeah, I might not.
Is that the kind of thing, Paris? Is that? It's a weird question, but covering the businesses you cover, is that the kind of thing you think, oh, I should read it so I know it's what? Or can you say, no, that's not my gig?
I don't know. I mean, I think if it was a book that I thought had a significant amount of new report, I think that there are some business books that the quality of the journalist, and in many cases that they're a active journalist and that this is their beat, you know that this book is going to contain a wealth of new and interesting reporting on a subject that matters. I think that, again, I have, much like you're saying, I haven't read the Bankman-Fried book or the Elon Musk book. I could be getting it entirely wrong, but my understanding of it from reading other people's reviews is that both of these books kind of fall into the category of access journalism.
Yes.
I mean, I think that when you are profiling a great man, quote unquote, and your book hinges on being able to follow him around and sit in on all of his meetings and spend dozens of hours with him, of course it is going to end up favoring his viewpoint. And you would have to be a complete soulless monster to not empathize with a person after spending that much time with them, listening to them and having conversations with them. And I don't think that that's often the most productive use of a journalist's time and effort.
Let me ask you another question.
People feel the same way about Mr. Walt Mossberg, the way we're looking at Isaacson at this
written
moment.
any books?
Well, not books, but he has a lot of written work out there.
He's gone back and forth on Kara Swisher. That on the one hand she plays tough, but on the other hand she has access too.
Yeah, access journalism, and Mossberg certainly was a victim of it. I think Kara is as well. We sometimes call it beltway journalism, where you're so indebted to the sources that you can't really fairly cover the story. And I think probably Kara and Walt both have a little bit of that going on. I always felt like Walt was a little too close to Steve Jobs, for instance, and really couldn't do
Paris, let me ask you something, because you've covered this industry. I wrote an admiring book about Google called What Will Google Do? I think
that Jeff Jarvis, another one.
People
really?
There.
Yeah. Too close.
Really in the pocket of big Google.
If you're done now.
Sorry, continue.
You ought to see him in shorts. Let me just say that. Okay.
But these TESCREAL long-termism AI boys, I mean, I could dismiss the NFT boys and the blockchain boys. They were a little crazy, but I knew it was going to happen. These guys, the long-termism AI boys, really frightened me. And so I look back on my own writing and I think, well, I don't think I hero worshipped them, but I admired the smarts of them. And I think I was part of this too, where it was that putting these boys up on too high a pedestal, a cliff, and they believe their own PR. So you've covered these people. How do you view them?
I mean, I think what you're describing is a much larger phenomenon than yourself. We are coming off of this age of tech journalism that for a while was very hero worshipy because everything was new and exciting. Like you said, there were these cool boys in a college dorm room just trying to take on the world, and what could go wrong? We're just talking about things on the old computer that sits in your back room at home. And little do we know, everything about the world has changed how many times over because of the various advances in technology. And I think obviously as the power that these companies and executives wield has become more evident, obviously a caring and conscientious press should hold their feet to the fire. And I think that we're kind of now in a bit of the backswing of that. I think especially the fact that we have had we're on the tail end of this tech boom in terms of fundraising these astronomical sums, people being given basically unlimited capital to follow whatever their wildest dream that they decided to put in a pitch deck was. And I think we're entering this new era where you have to be a lot more critical about these things. And I guess to answer your original question, how I approach this, I don't always think that executives or the big names at the head of every company are necessarily the most important people to focus your reporting on, because ultimately many of the decisions are happening, almost all of the decisions are happening downstream of them. So I think that that's kind of how I try to approach it. Is a critical lens.
That's good journalism.
Yeah.
Well, here's another, but I would like to think that Larry and Sergey and Satya and Marissa and the people of that era are pretty smart, and I hope they're not cultists. Is this something that's been there the whole time and we haven't seen it? We only see it now? Or is this particular breed of Musk, Thiel, Altman, et al., who are that kind of cultish long-termism thing?
I think it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I mean, I think that those people you specifically named are definitely steeped in specific kind of political social movements and continue to radicalize themselves and those around them. But I also think that the culture that like Silicon Valley largesse has created over the past decade or two, it's a culture where like radical ideas and big thinkers have historically been rewarded. Right. So of course it's going to skew towards the extremes of, the guy who was 5 years ago talking about taking ice baths 3 times a day. Everyone probably thought he was crazy now, but now they're like doing that and having 20 supplements a day and replacing their blood with the blood of their kids. So I think that, it is more
so
of
do you have to
the
cover,
loudest voice wins.
I'll put air quotes around the word philosophy and politics, and in covering technologies, the information does better than anybody else. How wide does that umbrella cover now in terms of the culture?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the reporter and the beat. Like, we have a really great weekend section. We recently hired this great reporter, Julia Black, who has done a lot of phenomenal reporting on this, and she just had a great story about kind of the world that Peter Thiel and his associates hoped to bring about by their various investments. And it specifically kind of dealt with these sort of issues of kind of the complicated social bleed associated with a certain group of, tech luminaries. Mm-hmm. But I think that it's something that you can't really ignore. I think that obviously kind of the information's bread and butter has always been like scoops and journalism about like business news and market moving things. But also if you want to do a service to readers when you're talking about the technology industry at large, that's going to have kind of coverage of a variety of social influences and impacts.
The impact is broad.
I think we've learned. I mean, I absolutely was guilty of, thinking Elon was Tony Stark and, Larry and Sergey had some sort of magical powers. But this was all part of as we've talked about before, Jeff, the early days of technology, where we were all very optimistic about the future of technology.
But you had reason to be optimistic.
Well, we want,
based on the behavior that was presented.
It was new, but in hindsight, I think anybody who's paying attention anyway has realized, these guys had feet of clay, and they were not what we thought they were, and it has not become the utopia we thought it would, and it's probably good to be a little bit more skeptical. I think Neeraj Weisblad has talked about that on our show.
Yeah, she has. The other thing that in the next book I'm working on, the internet book, I look back to Gutenberg, and the technologists were in charge at the beginning, as they had to be, but then they faded in the background. And the question is, when will the technologists fade in the background? And what's more interesting than the technology is what we do with it.
What's different this time is they have so much power. And I think there is a point at which you're so powerful, you're unassailable. And I wonder if Google has gotten to that point, or Amazon has gotten to that point where there's nothing you can do about it. I look at the FTC and the DOJ and the actions they're taking at these big tech companies, and the question I keep saying is, but what's the remedy? What are you going to... Yes, agreed, Google shouldn't be buying and selling ads, both be a buyer and seller of ads.
That's the easiest one.
But what? Well, so that's the one that's obvious. That's clearly wrong.
Yeah.
How do you fix it? You force them to divest that? Then what's their revenue model? It's very hard to do that surgery now. And I'm wondering if they're now at the point where they're too big to fail. They're unassailable. We can't do anything about it, which is frankly pretty scary.
But this is where I think that the regulators go off the wrong end. I mean, Europe went after shopping in Google, wrong thing to go after. And the FTC now is going to hurt consumers. People love Prime. They love it. And they should. They save money. They get more choice.
Sometimes it's hard to convince. Consumers are not the litmus test, because consumers think 0 rating's great too. Well, you're not going to charge me for Netflix on my cell phone bill? That's fantastic. And they don't understand the consequences of that. It's our job to explain why net neutrality is important and why you can't pick winners at cell phone companies. So I don't know. This is a tough one. It's really tough. I like Brad Stone's. What do you think of Brad Stone's books about Amazon, Paris? I
love Brad. I think Brad Stone is like the example I was thinking of. I've read both of his books, and I think they're fantastic.
You learn about that companies in ways that you wouldn't know otherwise. Yeah.
It's a deep dive into the decisions that were going on inside Amazon and all these critical points, the various executives at play. It's got an interesting narrative, and it's got so much new and like valuable reporting.
Yeah, that's the business journalism I like to read, where it's not hagiography. It's not, access journalism.
Same with Mike Isaac's Super Pumped, I think a classic example.
Excellent. Isaac's fantastic, yeah. Well, it's too bad that, because Michael Lewis kind of used to be that trustworthy.
Oh, I loved his books.
It's too bad.
I'm not saying that those books aren't valid or anything. It's just that he tried to. Both these guys again had a mold, and they picked the wrong. They showed very bad judgment in their subjects.
Yeah, and that's the complaint I think The Verge had, which is at this point Walter Isaacson is trying to create a series of books about geniuses. Right? He has this whole kind of overarching plot line that these are the great man theory. These are the people who are changing our world through their sheer force of will and genius. And yes, and he admits it, they're flawed, but what would we do without them? And it has to fit in that mold, or he's kind of his whole premise is screwed. So I think he got.
I think about a lot is the first page of the essential book, The Journalist and the Murderer, which like the first line goes like, every journalist who is not too stupid or too full of himself to notice what is going on knows that what he does is morally indefensible.
Oh my God.
Kind of confidence man. Like, and that, by that you mean like,
oh, this is Janet Malcolm's book.
Janet Malcolm's book.
Wow.
You specifically your job is to gain a source's trust, empathize with them. In these cases, follow men around for like hundreds of hours, God knows how many days or weeks or months, and then remove yourself from your relationship with that person that you've built up and write a piece outside of that, but based on the knowledge that you have gained from that relationship, which is hard because it can feel like a betrayal of the very human and empathetic relationship you just built. But your job is not to have a good relationship with that person and have it reflect that. It is to both, witness what is going on and then contextualize it in a way that is unrelated to yourself as a person and your personal relationship with that.
Very source. Challenging.
It reminds me of
she's writing about Joe McGinnis, who wrote a book about a murderer and basically got kind of co-opted by the murderer.
It's like Billy Bush and Donald Trump in the bus.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're all appalled that Billy Bush laughed at Donald Trump.
Yeah, but I understood.
In that what are you going to do?
In that situation, standing next to Donald Trump, I might have done the same thing. It's like, what he just said is horrific, but what am I supposed to say? Going. I'm not supposed to say, you're a horrible person, Donald Trump. No, we got to interview him. I got to interview him now. So I was a little more sympathetic of Billy Bush. It cost him his career. But I could seeing
and
myself
I understand that too.
Yeah.
But it's I think it's what Paris's point is so right, is that we make a bargain with the devils we cover.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, are you binding a rewind pendant? Are you going to buy one of these?
Well, actually, stupid Jeff, I played Leo. I did.
You did.
I ordered it.
Oh my!
And then I said, "You idiot, Jeff! Of course it doesn't work with Android." Because I actually thought I would use it in class, and I saw a use for it.
So tell us what this is. So what you just bought.
So the idea is,
if you don't want it, by the way, I'll buy it from you. It's only $60.
Well, no, I got a refund. They were very nice, but they refunded it. No, I might buy it later. So you put it around your neck, and it records everything you're saying and others. It's supposedly some way they can deal with privacy. I have no idea, but it records everything, puts it on your phone, so that you can then do all the AI stuff with it.
Honestly, I want this just for future reference when I argue with Lisa, when she says, "No, I told you that," and I could say, "Well, let's rewind."
Amen,
tape.
brother.
You have amen. Red challenge flag.
How does this work with recording laws? Because there's a significant portion of the country where you can't have. Like, you can't record something without everyone's consent.
It says
it supposedly will cut out
California.
Certain people or something like that.
It says Rewind Pendant is a wearable that captures what you say and hear in the real world, then transcribes, encrypts, and stores it locally on your phone.
That's in violation of wiretapping law in California.
Oh, yeah. Slight problem.
Well, now I want one.
Of course.
Oh, it's illegal. I'll take it.
Sue you.
It's stored locally for your privacy. It respects the privacy of others. We offer features for you to ensure no one is recorded without their consent. I don't know what that means. I don't know what those features are.
Yeah. I mean, how would that work? If I had that on right now, I'd technically be in violation of, because I am recording you, Leo, and who are in California. Jeff and I, we are in one-party states. So
here's how they do this. How can we prevent people from being recorded without their consent? 1, we only store recordings of the user and anyone else who has verbally opted in.
Oh, yeah.
Using voice fingerprints and speaker diarization, it's possible to say who said what. If a person hasn't previously said, sure, you can record me, then it will not store anything they say, and it's as if they never said anything.
See.
So you have to go around
wait, can we go back to that screen? Look at the last line on that thing.
These are exactly the kind of features the device depicted in that one Black Mirror episode.
Literally, a little on the nose.
It doesn't store verbatim transcripts, just summaries. But you do have to say, so that means I'm going to be at the grocery store and I'm going to have to ask the clerk, can I record you? I might need to record. I need to record this. No, because I don't care what the clerk says. Or do I? I'm buying it anyway. Why did you get a refund?
But here's the thing, Leo. So I tried to cancel because it said you can cancel when I buy it. So, okay, I'll buy it. I feel like Leo. All right, and I'm buying it. And then I looked up, how do I cancel? How do I know if they did a refund? Cancel. Well,
they're not even close to making it, I think.
It's subscription. No, not. Of course not.
It's a subscription
service.
Oh, of course.
Rewind Pro is $19 per user per month.
Oh, no, sorry.
Yearly.
Wow.
So it's $59 for the hardware.
But
then you pay $20 a month.
If you go to the top and see pricing on their page, it'll show you what's included and not.
Ooh.
The free.
Ooh.
There you go.
So I have a friend who does this, and anybody could, just with a little effort, on his phone. He has his phone recorded, uses a script on an Android device to send it to Whisper AI to transcribe it, then sends the transcription on to ChatGPT to summarize it, and then all of this is done by a script automatically. I think I mentioned it. Didn't I mention this? And I was
Yeah, you did.
Because we went to see Oppenheimer and we had a conversation and it did a remarkable job. So you could do this on your own. You don't need these guys to do it.
I want to see that thing's transcription of when the bomb goes off in Oppenheimer. I assume it was recording that, right? Yeah.
It just says boom. That's all.
Boom. Boom, boom, boom. So you get, by the way, if you pay for the pro version, you get the CEO's phone number. So that's worth something.
Sure.
Recordings compressed and stored locally on device. Only you have access to what's recorded. Mac and iPhone apps. That's why you didn't want it, Jeff. Browse back and forth.
Exactly.
I like this. You remember Gordon Bell, who was founder of DEC, great computer scientist, later founded the Computer History Museum. He had a camera he would hang around his neck. His wife, Gwen, suffered from severe Alzheimer's. So I think originally it was to help her keep track of stuff. But eventually he came up with the idea of life recording, that he would record everything. And this was not audio. This was pictures.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that now.
And I don't know what happened. It was called My Life Bits, a system to digitally, here he is talking about it at the Library of Congress, system to digitally record. Then this is in the early days. Now we could do a lot better job. Everything that happened. I think it would take a picture every few seconds. And his concept was, wouldn't you like to blog your whole life? No. Here's, by the way, a picture of what it looks like if you do. That's Gordon in a pile of magazines. Interesting idea, though. Just audio is all you need.
I was about to say, my version of the Rewind pendant is this guy right here,
Look at that. A little Zoom recorder.
Looks like a Zoom,
little
right?
recorder, and then you put this in your ear, and you can have your headphones over it, and it just records the side of the conversation.
Do you
while you're
record
talking
interviews?
without capture? I do, yeah.
Yeah. Do you? And you said you use a transcript. What do you use again?
I use Trint.
Trint. TRINT.
Started by a journalist.
Which is another like AI powered one. I like it because it's, paid. It keeps my stuff secure, but I mostly like it because it has a really good search function. You can kind of, because I take kind of timestamped notes whenever I'm interviewing people. And so then I can go and be like, oh, I'm going to kind of scroll through and click on 22 minutes, 39 seconds, and it'll pull up the transcript right there.
Wow.
And start playing it then. And I can kind of edit it live and then continue to transcribe.
I've used
really
Otter
nice.
AI to do this, and there's, of course, Whisper will do it for kind of for free. That's Trint. I'll have to TRINT.com.
Yeah, it's really
I
nice.
think for reporters, this is huge.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I mean, it's just like there are some stories where, you talk to like 20, 30 people, sometimes for like 30 minutes to an hour each. And it's like, without having recordings of this in my notes, how would I ever remember anything?
Oh, God. In the old days, that's what you do. You have a little reporter's notepad, and you be writing as fast as your little fingers can.
Simply cannot
Jarvis
type
hand.
fast enough for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's very hard. My notes would go cold in 20 minutes.
Yeah. All right, you have a lot of stories in here, Jeff. This Westlaw case, Jeff Jarvis.
That's interesting. That's worth a
Tell
moment,
us
I
about
think.
this.
So, Westlaw, part of Reuters, right?
Yeah. Thomson Reuters, yeah.
Yeah, Thomson Reuters. Thomson Reuters is suing Ross. The company came along and they wanted to kind of break open the legal search business. And they tried to license Westlaw. And Westlaw said, F off. And they went to another company where they basically recreated the structure. And I don't use Westlaw. I don't know. But what I understand, Westlaw has A, summaries, and B, a taxonomy and search structure that makes the law far more accessible.
So we should explain Westlaw is kind of like LexisNexis. It's an online service that has all the law journals, all the law books, and lawyers pay a lot of money, I think. I think it's pretty expensive.
Yes.
So that they can quickly find citations and precedents and so forth and keep up with what's going on. So that Ross was a company that wanted to create a competitor?
Right, basically. And a service that would do some of the same things. So what's interesting to me is that they weren't duplicating the content; they were duplicating a structure. And on the one hand, you say, "Well, that's not copyright problem." On the other hand, you could say that's exactly what copyright is: it's treatment of information. So that's interesting. And then.
And Ross was using
other
AI
issues here.
for this. We should point out this is an AI service.
It's an AI company. So all they had to do was train the model. So this is what raised it for the whole kind of other things. Once you've trained the model, you throw away all the input material. All you have is the relationships left, and the model has a skill.
So this is analogous.
The model is using that skill
to George R.R. Martin and Sarah Silverman complaining that OpenAI has scanned their works. They don't keep the works.
So if AI learns how to do jokes because it was taught by Sarah Silverman, is that copyright violation? I actually think not. I think that's fair use and transformative. But that's where the fight. So this is a parallel case, which is really interesting. It also involves our laws. Damn it, there are laws and there are case law, and that's public property in a way. So what does that have to do here? And then it goes to the questions of the link stuff happening in Canada with their complete mess.
Because Westlaw is the contents of Westlaw are public domain. They're owned by the lawmakers and but so Westlaw's point is the only thing we add, our secret sauce, is our organizational, our search capabilities.
Basically.
Because I understand, I could be wrong.
So if Ross copies that, they're copying the one thing
it has
that we
somebody
do.
who kind of trained it, but it trained it on how Westlaw operates.
Yeah.
Is that
so that's an interesting, it's more derivative than saying, that read all my books and now is going to be able to give you summaries.
Yeah.
This is like they're trying to copy the secret sauce, the one thing that Westlaw does.
So the other issue,
but they're trying to reverse engineer it without actually having it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the other interesting part here is that Westlaw is a means for searching our law, right? Publishers want search engines in Canada, to pay for linking to what they think is their news. For the sake of the analogy I write, imagine if Westlaw had to pay to link to our law. Imagine then if Google charged us to search for our information in the world. It has a quick leap here, probably not in the courts, but in a philosophical basis, to this whole notion of what's happening with links right now, and made even worse now with Musk deprecating them too. But in Canada, with C18, the publishers said, you must pay to link to us because our content is what's valuable. Facebook said, screw off. And by the way, it didn't hurt Facebook in the least, but the publishers lost 30% of their traffic. So what was valuable in there? Was it the content? No, it was the links. That kind of comes into this as well. What's valuable? The law or the treatment? Who can charge whom for what? Who can put a fence around it? This opens up all kinds of new things when the model is just learning how to do something. How it learns and how it's taught.
So is this about, like, in Midjourney, someone saying create an image of a cat in style of Andy Warhol?
A little bit, I think, Ant. But I think it's a little more operational, procedural than that. It's not so much the style.
Because what you're saying is Westlaw just has all of this public data, but they figured out a way to package that public data a certain way that
and the
could be
packaging
useful
is
for other
their
people.
Secret sauce,
And
well,
so,
every newspaper has public data, right? Every newspaper has, the New York Times has tons of public data. It's their packaging of it that we buy.
Yeah.
We need to move along. I wanted to talk a little bit about Mean Girls on TikTok. This is a complete way to end around the Writers Guild and the Screen Actors Guild. Oh, don't put it in the theater. You don't have to pay residuals. We'll just put it on TikTok. The people who, Paramount Pictures, which owns Mean Girls, has posted the entire movie Mean Girls on TikTok,
which is
in
interesting
23 individual videos.
I want to know the discussions that happened with a legal team to allow this to occur.
Oh, my.
They did it on October 3, which is, what's it called? Mean Girls Day. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that yesterday and didn't know what the heck Mean Girls was.
Their attitude probably is, this is promotional. It's TikTok. We're not putting we are putting the whole movie, but nobody would watch the whole movie. Oh, but we would watch the whole movie. So,
well, people are doing it like crazy without, as pirates.
Yeah, might as well be.
It's a new, so they played along here.
New kind of really distribution. Yeah.
Update from the chat. After that place published the article, Paramount removed the clips, allowing you to watch the entire Mean Girls movie from the Mean Girls TikTok account.
Oh, interesting. Oh, this is a Time
So probably the legal team got in and was like, "Listen, guys, what are we doing?"
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, that is interesting.
We do need to take a little break. We will, and come back with your final thoughts and picks of the week in just a bit. It's been a long time. I don't want Paris to feel like these shows are going to go on forever.
No. Because we haven't even done an AI corner or a changelog.
Changelog.
We'll talk about that.
Screw that.
We got a lot of fun stuff.
We're done. We're at it.
We're done.
I just want to go home. Our show today. We were just talking about Jamboard. One of the things Google said is, well, all right, we're going to put Jamboard out of business, but you could use Miro. I love this because Miro you can use it right now. Your first 3 boards for free at Miro.com/podcast. What is Miro? That's the tough one to answer. It's an online workspace, online, by the way, no hardware involved, for innovation. You can use it on any computer or a Chromebook or an iPad. But what does it mean? How can it help you? Miro is an incredible visual place that brings all your innovative work together, no matter where you're located. And it's flexible. It can be anything you need it to be. It could be swim lanes, Kanban, Post-it notes. It could be a mood board. It's packed with all the things that you need to make it your dream product's home base. 6 whole capability bundles, from product development workflows to content visualization. It's powered by Miro AI, so you're generating new ideas or summarizing complex information pretty much instantly with the help of the AI. Miro can work for any team in any situation, but product development teams are one of the sweet spots. They really get the full experience. It gives a product development team the richest feature set of any visual workspace. Tools that'll help you with strategy, process mapping, facilitation tools that'll help you run effective design or agile sprints. I mean, it's amazing. Miro connects super seamlessly to the platforms you're already using. Using Confluence? Yeah. Jiro? Yeah. Google Docs? Yeah. Asana? Yeah. No problem. We use it with Zapier and Google Docs. You can centralize work in a way that makes sense for your team. They don't leave Miro, and that's the other thing that's a real advantage. There's no context switch. So you stay in Miro to update product statuses. Even using those tools, you still do it in Miro. That means there's a single source of truth, a single place everyone can go to see where the project is. It's also a massive time saver. Miro users report saving up to 80 hours a year because they streamline yes, per user, per year. They streamline conversations. They cut down on meetings. And it's really helpful in a hybrid workplace because people, no matter what time zone they're in, no matter where they are geographically, can get the most up-to-date information in one place. Miro just released a new feature. They're always doing new stuff, but this one just came out. A board video recording feature called Talk Track. Kind of like what we were just talking about to save time. Pre-recording your thoughts, leaving them on the board instead of scheduling yet another meeting that slows down the productivity. It's another great way to add your comments, your thoughts, your ideas, your brainstorming to your Miro boards. The best news is, because Miro could be whatever you need it to be, you can try it free right now. Your first 3 boards are free. Start working better at Miro.com/podcast. 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 We thank them so much for their support of the show. Paris, you put in a fun one that could be your pick. I'll let you choose, but I see this Masterclass looks kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm really interested in that story.
Oh, yeah. This is a story I recently reported just about how Masterclass hit it big during the pandemic, like most content companies did, had a surge in users interested in watching Masterclass and signing up when they were locked in their homes, raised a buttload of money because of it, and then spent a considerable amount of it very quickly on somewhat frivolous things and have had to do kind of a crazy amount of layoffs and budget cuts to try and make its business work.
This graphic at the front is Bob Iger in his office. Actually, it looks like an AI of Bob Iger in his office.
Yeah, it's definitely Bob Iger's head pasted on some other.
It looks like that
body.
Google head shift thing.
But you point out, and this was the thing I loved about Masterclass, they were a sponsor for a long time, is their production values were incredible. I didn't realize how incredible.
Beautiful.
You say they spent $850,000 shooting the Bob Iger Masterclass.
And $100,000 of that came from, they originally were like, we want to shoot in Bob's office. And it didn't really work, it was a small thing. Logistically, they couldn't get them. And so we're going to spend $100,000 recreating Bob Iger's office 1-to-1 in a Disney conference room on a different lot.
Oh my God.
And I mean, the thing is that surprised me so much about this is a lot of the reporting I've been doing over the last year, seen a lot of examples of tech companies blowing money on silly things, but I hadn't really ever considered the Hollywood aspect of it, which is kind of like that, but notched up a degree. I mean, I think the average Masterclass for a long period of time had a budget of $1 million for production. That's not
it looked like
including
it.
Talent.
It looked like it, though. I mean, when you looked at those early
talent
ones,
was totally different. They were probably paying talent anywhere from a couple $100,000 to a couple million, depending on the name of the celebrity.
Freaking Sam Jackson was one of their top.
Yeah, that was a great
They
Masterclass.
on a single day of shooting, they filmed this barbecue pitmaster Aaron Franklin
Loved that.
outside in the backyard.
Watched that one over and over again.
They had 70 people on set to film him.
It's like a Hollywood movie.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
a crew of 70.
So it didn't work. I mean, they raised hundreds of millions of dollars.
Oh, it was hot as hell. The other thing, Paris, is that it motivated. It was the hot thing around schools. So we had to do our own master classes. We had to find people. We got a grant and did 5 masterclass things around journalism.
That's so interesting.
I enjoyed
'cause-
my subscription. I paid for it for a couple years.
Me too.
And
I watched a lot of them
now, but it was a lot of good information in there, and it was freaking beautiful.
But if you
Gosh,
think
was
about
beautiful.
it, Ant, I mean, how much do we pay? It was a couple $100 or something.
Yeah, it was like
how are they going to make that $1 million production fee costs back?
Yeah, that hurts.
So what happened to them?
Yeah. I mean, so that's the thing is they had since basically their pandemic boom, people started going outside and their subscription numbers no longer were just going up and to the right. Think growth kind of plateaued. People weren't looking to spend that much money on the content. So they've had to do kind of massive budget cuts in terms of their production value. They've had like 4 or 5 different rounds of layoffs of their staff, cut like 300 people.
They had 300 people?
No, they had like 600 people.
This is an amazing story, by the way. One of the things they did during COVID was they all moved to Iceland.
Yeah, they were like, we've got to, keep production going. So they're like, we're going to do production in Iceland where, stuff is somewhat under wraps. But they flew a whole Masterclass crew of production people out via private jet to Iceland, moved them and their families there for like 6 months, then flew all the instructors via private jet there, put them up in like a fancy place to stay with their families during quarantine. Just kind of this whole big spenders. And I mean, it could work except for the fact that it's like an annual subscription thing. I mean, people are paying $120 a year for this.
Yeah.
It's not really scalable. So now what they're trying to do is kind of lower budget content, much less like glitz and glamour, like celebrity masterclasses. Instead, they're doing kind of almost like a Quibi type thing where they're talking about quick bites of content where they'll have that was my thought exactly.
They'll be on TikTok before you know it.
I mean, they're like, they'll do a 15-minute episode on how to do the best coffee, or a 19-minute episode in which the 16-year-old pickleball champion from a couple of years teaches you how to play pickleball.
I mean, you can cut costs and make things more expensive, but they shouldn't cheapen this product. Please don't Masterclass.
But they can.
I mean, I think it's also they're trying to figure out what people want, because there's not that many people that want to sit down and watch a 3 to 8 hour in-depth thing from like Bob Iger or something.
True.
And actually consume all of that content. So they're trying to find a way to balance it.
Sorry, it's also kind of what you were talking about before with the Isaacson and Lewis problem. How many world-class geniuses who run the world do you really want to hear from?
And it's also like how many of those people who are good at something and have name recognition are good at teaching it.
Yes.
Because those are two very different skills.
This is true.
I have to say, though, and I know, Ant, you and I both watched a lot of these. It was fantastic. I mean, I always wondered how they did it. And notice, by the way, one of the reasons TWiT is so cheap and cheesy is because I learned from watching Tech TV go down the tubes because it was so expensive. And I said, can we do this for less? And even in 2005, we were doing this for 1/10 of what Tech TV was doing. And Tech TV wasn't financially viable, but I knew if we could do it that inexpensively, we could be. I'm not to besmirch Masterclass. I loved their ethos and their style.
You still subscribe?
I mean, I think that's the thing is they attracted top tier talent as far as production went, because they were like, wow, I'll finally get the time, energy, and money to create something beautiful that is also kind of educational. But that's a difficult business to make profitable, especially on investors' timeline.
Why don't you still subscribe, Leo?
Is it fair to say they've pivoted, Paris, or what does the future hold for them?
I mean, the future holds more classes like, I was saying, like these little series where instead of it being a 3 to 8 hour class from Natalie Portman, they're going to be like a 15-minute episode
from
on
Leo Laporte,
how to make a good pizza.
Yeah. He's not as good as Natalie, but sounds the same. Great article.
Time to do a masterclass.
Great article. If you have not, if you're not a subscriber yet, this by itself would make it worthwhile. The information.
Unbelievable.
Masterclass takes a crash course in frugality. See, when I read the headline, I thought, oh, there's a masterclass on frugality. I need to learn that. But no. Quite the opposite.
They need to listen to one of those.
What I love about it too, Paris, is that it's not with the information, it's not the obvious boundaries of a tech story.
No, it's really well done.
Right?
They obviously
it's online,
give you the time
and that's sufficient
to do it right and to write it. I'm very grateful for Jessica and the information and publications like the New Yorker, where great writers are allowed to take their time and write long. Stephen Levy always calls it slow journalism. To do good journalism.
Love Stephen.
Yeah, and that's how it should be. And thank God it's still there, because there's so much terrible. It's kind of like the master class of journalism. I just
there is that.
Very good stuff. Thank you. Jeff, you just got interviewed in the Columbia Journalism Review.
Thank you for pointing that out.
The history of the magazine. This is your new book, right? This is what your new book's on.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they also I also, of course, talked about Gutenberg. Little book, big book.
You know what? There's no one better to do this, because you were on the front lines as the magazine industry changed and eventually died.
I finally get to tell the story of Entertainment Weekly. Which I never did. And I use it as a way to explain the economics of magazines and why they've changed and so on. But I go back to the history of magazines back to the 1700s up to today.
Nice.
It was a lot of fun writing it. And,
is that book out yet?
This one, it's out, I think, next. You can order it now. It's very short. It's a little tiny book. It's 150 pages. It's less than 150 pages. It's a quick read.
Jeff was one of the founders of Entertainment Weekly.
It was my idea.
Yeah. Magazine. Object Lessons in Magazine Publishing by Jeff Jarvis.
Object Lessons is a great series from Bloomsbury. They have how many? Like almost, I think, more than 100 objects.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Television sets.
That's a good idea. I like that.
It's a great idea.
All right. You said you had a pick for us, Paris Martineau. I got to hear this.
I don't know what the picks are supposed to be, but my
could be
pick,
anything
the
you
only
want.
thing I can think about outside of working hours is the game Baldur's Gate 3. It is a video game that is Dungeons and Dragons, but a video game, and it's absolutely phenomenal. It is a compelling story, fantastic animation. It is a RPG, like a role-playing game. It has turn-based combat, really incredible, in-depth kind of story and gameplay. I've spent 200 hours playing this game.
Wow. And I just got out of the alien ship, and now I'm wandering around. I can't figure out how to get anywhere. So maybe I can get some tips from you, huh? What character are you playing?
Wander around.
What character?
I'm playing. Well, I started with a custom origin character, which kind of you can be whoever, and I finished my one round of that, and then I'm replaying right now with it's called the Dark Urge, which is an origin character where you're a normal person, but for some reason you can't remember anything about your backstory, and some voice in your brain keeps kind of pushing you to kill things, and it's actually, I think, should be the main character of Baldur's Gate, because it ties in perfectly with the story and is incredibly satisfying lore-wise. But it's just probably some of the best writing I've ever seen in a video game.
Interesting. I have a hard time getting used to turn-based combat. That's the biggest challenge for me.
I will say I'm a big turn-based combat person. I love, Fire Emblem, Tactics, Ogre, Triangle Strategy, all that. But I think that from what I've heard of people who are haters of turn-based combat, this is a game that does it really well.
Yeah.
Turn-based combat.
Don't even worry about it. There are people.
Okay.
It's essentially, if you think of a normal video game where you're shooting and doing stuff live in the moment, turn-based combat is more kind of like chess, where it's it's your turn. You've got to figure out what I like about it is you've got to figure out the optimal moves for your characters. You've got to survey the battlefield. I can sit there and think about what I want to do, and it's great.
And then they get a turn, and then you get a turn.
Yeah, and then the enemy gets a turn, and then
I hate it. And I play chess. I hate it. I just want to, I'm more of a Warcraft type. I want to slash and burn, That's
the thing, is I get overwhelmed. I'm like, listen, I need to pause and take a moment.
This game has had such great reviews. It's probably the game of the year.
I think it's frankly the best video game I've ever played in my life.
Wow.
Without a doubt.
And you played on the Steam
It used to be
Deck.
Skyrim.
I got it. See, I love Skyrim.
Love the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
It is like Skyrim, but better in every way, and has like a more compelling story and better writing.
I did love Skyrim. On the Steam Deck or a PC, or I think you can play it on your. I know you can play it on.
Now they've got
PS5.
Mac, PlayStation 5.
Oh, they have it on the
it's
Mac.
going to be coming to Xbox soon. Yeah, highly recommend it. Honestly, if you want to destroy your personal life.
I'm married. I don't have a personal life. Jeff Jarvis, your pick of the week.
Well, so I'm probably never going to go there because I can't stand Las Vegas. But like everybody else, I watched The Sphere.
Isn't that amazing?
It's pretty cool.
And what occurred to me was I flew out to Phoenix for Google Newsgeist and the new Terminal A at Newark. And because it's new, there are huge screens, right? Every gate has a long, big, specially shaped screen telling you it's boarding and so on and so forth. And it occurred to me that one phenomenon I don't think anybody's written about a lot is the impact on the world of cheap screens. When we think about it in terms of the phone, also cheap cameras, right? The fact that we could afford a camera in the rear bumper of every car, it's pretty amazing. But screens everywhere, and the creative uses to which they're being put, not just informational, but this just really got me thinking about that as a core part of our time. That it wasn't that long ago when a screen was only so big and was just as deep as it was wide.
And screens were the devil too.
Yeah, it has changed concerts for sure. I started noticing this about 10 years ago, where it used to be concerts would have a lot of practical set stuff and fireworks and stuff, and increasingly they just had a very high resolution screen that could be anything. And now this takes it to the next level because it's a 360-degree sphere. That they broadcast the concert.
And all the screens watching the screen. Plus,
that's the funny thing about this
billboards.
Is not one ever see all the people with the cameras. Not one person's enjoying the show. They're all recording it.
That will never be me.
Watch
that
the
will
show.
never be me.
Yeah, can't do it.
Yeah.
Because when are you going to watch that video?
No one cares.
You're not.
No one wants you to.
No one's looking at your video of a concert and being like, I watched it. Yeah.
Vacation slideshow. You're going to let me show you this. No, please no.
Although, of course, we are watching somebody's shot, so I guess.
Yeah. Actually, we're the problem.
We're the we're the ones watching their video that they recorded in their phone. This is from the Verge article about the Sphere. I've mentioned this before. I tried to buy tickets for this. I really wanted to see it, and my credit card said no. you are not going. You are not going,
enough, sir.
You've done
Slow
enough.
down.
You've hurt me enough pain. Anyway, it looks pretty cool. It's gonna. There'll be more opportunities to see them, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, they're gonna.
It's a residency, and there'll be other shows.
But the other interesting thing was for it. I mean, there's bad seats. If you bought the seats the wrong way, Leo, as you did for
Oppenheimer?
Oppenheimer, thank you.
Are there bad seats here?
Yeah, you only get there's if you're at the top, you don't get the full thing. Only at the bottom do you get the full sphere.
Okay.
Yeah, but Mr. Howell is saying it has made nosebleeds not so bad anymore. I guess it depends on the
I've heard people say the same thing, that maybe you wanted to sit higher up because then you'd see the whole thing.
There's obstructed vision. Well, maybe that's the case. I don't know where the high-priced seats are.
Depends on the venues, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's bottom. I don't know. If Jason knows more, tell us, Jason.
Cheapest tickets for the shows that haven't sold out yet start at $400.
Oh boy.
Going to what?
That's a Google Chromebook.
The ones I tried. The ones I tried
What would
to
you
buy,
rather
which are
have?
down closer.
1 hour in the Sphere or a Chromebook that lasts you for
I'd
10
rather
years?
have an hour in the Sphere.
Thank you.
Aunt Pruitt, pick of the week.
My pick of the week is part of my recent YouTube watching. This guy, I can't remember his name, but he's done he did a previous video about how filmmakers are making cameras disappear in scenes in some of the movies and television shows we watch. And now he's done a part 2, and it's quite captivating again, because you get to see some stuff far as green screening, blue screening, and just some of the practical movements of the camera. And it's really well done. He doesn't talk to you like you're an idiot about it. It's a very nice series. How filmmakers make cameras disappear in movies, part 2.
E.T. on YouTube.
Paul E.T. That's it.
E.T. Interesting. I didn't know they used mirrors. That's very interesting. Huh.
Or
makes sense.
The one-sided mirrors, depending on
they'd
the shot.
have to. Yeah, because the camera, you don't want the camera in the shot.
Yep. And then lastly, it's October, which means it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And some of you that may know me a little more intimately, I know I have been wearing these little pink wrist bracelets for I don't know how many years now, because there are survivors in my family. And so raising awareness, October, if you want to donate to the National Breast Cancer Foundation, please do.
NationalBreastCancer.org. And it's also Sober October. Because I have drunks in my family, I'm celebrating Sober October.
Cool.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not, but
I don't drink anyway. So it's easy for me. NationalBreastCancer.org. Good cause. Thank you, Aunt Pruitt. Thank you, Paris Martineau, for putting up with us for 3 whole hours.
Hey, Paris, what a pleasure.
Thanks for having me,
You
guys.
survived the marathon. Wow.
What else am I going to be doing on a Wednesday evening?
But will she be back?
I hope playing Baldur's Gate. We'll see if we get her to come back.
I mean, listen, it's what I'm going to be doing after this.
You'll find her at theinformation.com. And I love it that it says this: don't use your work phone, and call her or leave a message at her Signal if you have a tip.
Do you work in a tech? Reach out to me on Signal.
But don't use
I've
your
got
work
some
phone.
great sources from being on TWiT in the show. Don't use your work phone, though. Truly, it's that's the one way they can catch you is if you text me from an encrypted encrypted messaging app using your work phone.
Yeah, that would be a mistake. Do not back Signal up to iCloud either. That's a bad idea. So you actually gotten tips from being on TWiT?
Oh, yes. I have multiple sources
who
I talk to this day that have come in from TWiT.
Well, I won't name names, but
we'll know who they are if they're listening out there.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It is.
I like knowing we're helping you.
TWiT Army. They're trying to keep the world honest.
Yeah. Doing your good work.
I think there's nothing like listening to a bunch of people talk about journalism and tech to help tech workers realize that we're not all evil and out to get them.
No. We're just trying to tell a story, man.
It's true.
Thank you, Paris. Really appreciate your being here.
Thank you.
Of course. Thanks for having me, guys.
Jeff Jarvis, you know him as... It says emeritus on the card now. The director of the Townite Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism at the Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of Emeritus. New York.
Yeah, but
Emeritus.
That's pronounced emeritus. Jeff is also, of course, the author of the Gutenberg Parenthesis, GutenbergParenthesis.com, and his new book about magazines from the, who published it again?
Boss. And if you're in New York, if you're around New York, Tuesday, I just tweeted it. You can come to my Twitter feed and find the sign up. Jay Rosen and I will be discussing the Gutenberg Parenthesis at the New Mark J School.
Oh, how fun. Oh, that's great. And magazines published by Bloomsbury.
Both by Bloomsbury.
Bloomsbury. Aunt Pruitt is at auntpruitt.com to check out his beautiful prints at auntpruitt.com/prints. He's on the Insta at ant_Pruitt. And, of course, he's our community manager at Club TWiT, where he will be interviewing John Scalzi tomorrow. Yep. How exciting.
Looking forward to it.
You got a book to finish, though. I'm going to let you go because you got to be done with that before you...
Yep, gotta be done. I want to be semi-prepared.
Yeah, I like the cover of that. That's great.
Really good.
Great sci-fi author, John Scalzi. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific in the club. If you're not a member, twit.tv/club. TWiT. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We do this show this week in Google every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2100 UTC. You can watch us do it at live.twit.tv. Club TWiT members can also talk about it. In front of us, you have now a sticker, thanks to the club, for Jeff Emeritus.
Love it.
Yeah. And I like the Prince logo that goes along with that.
I'm not sure I get it.
It's Prince.
Formerly known as.
The person formerly known as the professor? Oh, I see.
Yeah, see?
Yes. Oh, Emeritus. There I see it.
The Emeritus, formerly known as Professor Jeff Jarvis. Papa.
Once a mayor, I'm always a professor, damn it.
Yeah.
Can't take that away from me.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, everybody. We will, you can also get copies of the show after the fact at the website, twit.tv/twig. There's a This Week in Google YouTube channel where you can watch and share, by the way. That's one of the nice things about YouTube. Makes it easy to share a clip. And, of course, the whole show is available, as always, in your favorite podcast player. Just search for Twig or search for TWiT and subscribe to all of them. Thank you. All of the shows. Subscribe to all of the shows. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next time on This Week in Google. Bye-bye.
Hey there, Scott Wilkinson here. In case you hadn't heard, Home Theater Geeks is back. Each week, I bring you the latest audio-video news, tips and tricks to get the most out of your AV system, product reviews, and more. You can enjoy Home Theater Geeks only if you're a member of Club TWiT, which costs $7 a month, or you can subscribe to Home Theater Geeks by itself for only $2.99 a month. I hope you'll join me for a weekly dose of home theater geekitude.